I think that one and the Carlton song, I think they're probably the two.
I'll be quiet. Grandstand AFL, ABC Local Radio, Digital Radio and streaming on the web. Geelong have won the toss. Who'll win the game? First bounce, Vardy leapt up high for the Cats. Kelly goes in, can't win it away. Scramble out of the middle, taken by the man from Moggs Creek, Dangerfield. Kicks towards the half-forward line. Walker got hands on it. Good spool away Lonergan, hand pass Varco. Varco goes back inboard. Wobbly kick by Lonergan across his boot. Back towards the centre of the ground. Hand pass comes wide towards where Kelly has it. Kelly's hand pass cut off superbly by McKernan, who's kicked a half forward. Well, I thought the Crows player took it a bit too easy. McKernan follows up as Hunt comes in for Geelong and lays the tackle. And there will be a bounce at centre half forward with no score as yet.
Rod Taylor-Walker should have taken that mark.
Yeah, look, the pressure was there. He went to ground, but well done, Sean McKernan, reading the play. Just had to dispose a little bit quicker to his teammate.
Bounce at centre half forward for Adelaide. McKernan goes in and boring in hard is Riley. Good start by Adelaide. My ball, says the umpire. The umpire's 10, Shane Stewart, 15, Matthew Nichols, and 20, Sam Hay. We've got green and the green socks.
Sean McKernan to Podsley Adelaide, who's playing up the ground.
And they wrestle, ball bounce, flicked by Vardy. Kelly's there, ball onto the ground. A chance for Sloan, and it's socket away from Menzel, the opponent. Dangerfield's got his nose over the ball, takes the ball at half ball. A Mully grubber inside 50. It's roosted outside 50 by Enright. It goes towards McKernan. McKernan on the ground, ducks his head. What will the umpire rule? He ducked his head over the shoulder. Taken by the Crows, looking promising early.
Short pass was meant for Jacobs, went past that player. Chance now for Geelong through Mooney. Winds up with a hand pass back to Kelly, who lost it. Out of the pack it goes to Wright. Wright goes the short pass on down the ground. Henderson ran underneath the ball for the Crows, close to the boundary line. Enright does well. Hand pass Menzel for the Cats. He's in defence. Takes his time. Menzel doesn't use the ball all that well as Dangerfield got across for another stat. Ran the ball close to the boundary line and over before Duncan could tackle him, and there'll be a throw in. No score. First quarter action. Richmond 14-15-99 beat Sydney 7-14-56. West Coast 16-14-110 beat Melbourne 9-8-62.
All attacking end for Crows at the start. The ball swept by Vince to Johncock in the action. Goes long, puts the ball inside 50. It's 2-on-2. They fly off the back. Taylor. What a magnificent mark, Rod Jamieson.
It wasn't just read the football really well. Adelaide coming in. Bernie Vince, tremendous handball into the middle of the ground.
Ball onto the outer side, and Geelong have it through Enright. It's been busy because Adelaide's had the ball. Johnson's got himself to half forward. Ball on the outer side, taken there by the player for Geelong in Mitch Duncan. The ball on the outer side, and a long ball from Podsley Adelaide. A low ball. Where's that gone? Off the hands of the Crows. Dangerfield onto the ground. Chance for Geelong to go inside 50 the first time. Stymied Kelly there. Umpire watching near the boundary line, out of sight. Lying on the ball. Goes to Geelong. How can they come up with that? Play on, says the umpire. Inside 50 Geelong. Mooney. He drops the mark. Taken by Ottens. Wind up in the forward pocket. The ball goes up. Right up the windmill. Can it be marked? It is. Can be marked. Did it go far enough? It's taken by a prancing Vardy.
Just been a couple of poor mistakes, hasn't there? Mooney, just an easy mark inside forward 50. Beautiful conditions. The ball should be nice and sticky, but just players have made some mistakes early in the game. But Vardy, just drifting down, was able to catch that errant kick from Ottens and has the first opportunity for the Cats from about 40 metres out on a 45-degree angle.
It looks like Tommy Hawkins in his 9th game. Nathan Vardy has the ball from 48 metres out. It's a long ball. It's away to the right. No goaler behind. First score. And that took 4 minutes.
Yeah, just good pressure from Adelaide too, albeit Geelong have had a fair bit more of the football, but I'm liking the pressure particularly in the middle of the ground and in the forward line for Adelaide.
Well, Vardy played, the Johncock finished up with the ball but then turned it over. Enright gets clear now for Geelong and goes by way of kick to Podsley Adelaide, who marks. He decides on the left boot in towards full forward. Vardy got up high, couldn't take it. Clears the pack and bounces over the boundary line for a throw in.
That's twice we've seen Sean McKernan there, Walsh. He just kicked the ball inside, Jamo, looking to play the corridor, and not sure you want your big tall players looking to spot up guys inside the forward corridor.
Throw in, Vardy, not quite. Dowdy rushes through. Johnson's got it for Geelong. Dispossessed, he's lying on the ball. He's not going to get pinged. There'll be a call of mine, says the umpire. And the three who are darting around in different directions are Shane Stewart, Matthew Nichols and Sam Hay. And we should say congratulations to Hayden Kennedy. What a brilliant career of 495 games, just missing out on 500. Well done. Bounce down. Here's the ball taken on the left boot, back towards where Marich missed it. That kick came from Vince. Now it's flicked across the top. Chance for Hunt. Gets through the tackle. Hand pass to the game. 200 Bartel. He flicked the ball to Wojcinski, who can run so well, but his kick is so poor and punched over the boundary line. And there will be a boundary throw-in. Geelong are behind. The Crows yet to score in this first quarter, 5.5 gone. The West Coast beat Melbourne, and Richmond had a 43-point win over the Sydney Swans.
Boundary throw in right forward pocket for Geelong. Palm down, ball onto the ground. In goes John Cock. He's bumped off the ball, takes the free kick, gutsy stuff. Been a lot of drop marks so far, right, haven't there?
Yeah, looking, Graham Chocock too, just taking some time to get up. Oh, he's tried to get up and gone back down too, so that's not a good sign for Adelaide. His approach in the football is always hard, physical, in the hands of a couple of trainers.
Cameron Mooney is explaining to the umpire that there wasn't much in it, but he certainly caught Graham high, so he looks in a little bit of trouble.
Remember the last time that John Cock got whacked, it was early in the piece after he'd started the game so well against Essendon.
That's right, and he was carried off with a hip injury, and the ball taken towards Sloane, so John Cock is okay. Sloane at half-back, stops, starts, goes back towards John Cock. He's under a bit of pressure, that's awkward. Charging is Steve Johnson, ball in the goal square, taken by Doughty, the veteran. Not quite sure what to do. Get it outside 50, they say. Over towards Talia. Crows have the number. Scott Thompson, first time we've called him. Beautiful pick-up at full run, but he kicked the ball straight towards Enright, and away go Geelong.
Enright steadies, kicks off. What a shocker. It's the advantage as it was Hunt who took it. Back to Enright holding the ball. Run down from behind. The advantage is paid back to Scott Thompson. His hand pass to Armstrong. Armstrong got around a Ling tackle. Flicked the ball wide out towards Van Berlo. Van Berlo goes short towards the half-forward line. From behind, Wojcinski got up, did the spalling away. Right's there for the Crows. Hand pass comes back out to Van Berlo. Van Berlo's kick is good. Marich marks. Yeah, but I wouldn't think you'd have to be all that confident with Ivan Marich. Am I being unfair? He's about 40 out on an angle.
This would take his very best from here, but he's been in reasonable form in the SNFL, kicking goals. But the Cats, just a couple of times, they're almost playing like they've come off those big wins where there hasn't been a lot of pressure on them. And Adelaide, with their pressure, have been able to get to them, cause some turnovers and hurt them in attack.
Ricky Henderson was the player
He was
running down.
Ivan Marich, 45 out. Ivan kicks a goal. He's not Ivan the terrible today. Is Ivan the accurate one? The Crows a goal. Geelong are behind. This is Grandstand AFL on ABC Local Radio, digital radio and streaming on the web. In this first quarter we've gone 8 minutes.
Yeah, just a good kick. We talked about the fact that Ivan Marich has spent a lot of time in the SNFL with the Port Adelaide Maggies, but back a couple of weeks now and making a bit of a difference, proving that he can play up forward, and just good ball use by Nathan Van Berlo, just to steady, hit his target, and Marich converted beautifully.
Some stats that Mark Bickley and his coaching panel will be happy with. Clearances 5-0 in favour of the Crows. Contested possession they lead 11-10, and inside 50s 4-3. Some of the major ball winners so far, John Cock and Scott Thompson, 4 disposals each, and Corey Enright has 4 for the Cats.
Crows by 5 points, 8 minutes gone. Football Park has got the crowd going. On a beautiful afternoon in Adelaide. The ball ripped away, ball onto the ground by Christensen. He dropped the ball. Play on, says the umpire. They bore in hard away from the centre circle. There's been a number of interchanges. Rod, I know Chris Knight's hip injury last week is on the wing at this stage, and Stokes going forward, looking at the forward line. There's Potsy Adley, and up there is Mooney inside 50. And the ball with umpire Shane Stewart. The bounce of the ball, the yellow ball on the beautiful green turf. It's flicked down by Ottens off the shoulder of Marich. It's knocked by over towards Chapman. Jams the ball in his boot. Does that a lot towards Mooney. Tries to knock the ball in front of him. The youngster Talia heads towards the boundary line. Well done. Geelong supporters will shout deliberate. Throw it in half forward on the outside. Geelong in attack, down by 5 points.
Well, I think the rotations have to be up, Roger, too. You're going to have freshness of the players and apply the pressure in the midfield as well as the high speed and high risk game. A lot of handball received, so a lot of running to go with Geelong.
Ottens tried to break through the pack. Enright was there. The kick out of the middle by Scott Thompson. Over towards centre wing. Menzel chases, and it's paddled over the boundary line, and there will be a throw in. Good fun, this game. Nice to see a close one. And the Cats putting together a side that will have a significant impact in the month of September. Marriage takes the ball out of the ruck contest, no one with him. Wobbles it to half forward, Henderson has it. He got a hand pass over towards Thompson, who in turn gave to Vince. Vince on the right foot for the Crows towards half forward. Knocked away into the path there of Petrenko. One way, the other, he actually threw it away. Cats with numbers. Hunt goes back and does well. Hunt. Handball, no, not quite hitting the target. Dangerfield tackled well by Ling. Play on is the call. It's right, who kicked it forward, and that's a good graft there by Taylor. In defence for Geelong. Taylor spots Lonigan with Scarlett not playing, of course. We miss him. The kick around towards half-back, marked by Duncan. And Duncan at half-back with Geelong setting up further afield. Poor kick. John Cock should mark and does. Just. Second time, John Cock decides to hand pass to Marriage standing still. Marriage takes them all on. Slow as a wet week this time, Big Ivan. Free kick Geelong, who are one behind. The Crows are a goal. In this term, we've gone 10.5 minutes.
Varco takes the hand pass from Christian's long ball inside 50. Geelong, Mooney's there. Was it over the shoulder? Mooney does the roving. Ball's on the ground. Tries to keep the ball alive. Does over towards his teammates. Knocked onto the ground towards Selwood. Tumbles towards the goals. And John Cox, good back pocket in the goal square. Takes the ball and clears the ball towards the outer side towards Armstrong. Has a look. Chest mark taken by Dangerfield. Up in mid-air. Pouches the ball over towards Armstrong. Armstrong promising last week against the Brisbane Lions to Van Berlo towards Otten. Otten towards Thompson. Promising loose hand pass though. Hunt's got a chance for Geelong. Tackled by Petrenko. Ball on the ground. Taken by Thompson. Back pedals. He's flattened. Ball on the outer side. Van Berlo in support. Over towards Petrenko. Can he keep the ball alive? Closing is the opponent. Gets away. Well done, Petrenko. Inside 50. Low towards the forward line. And that's a big McKernan up there. No, in fact, it's Jacobs. Ball with Taylor. Geelong under pressure at the moment. Rodden the ball towards Christensen. And away they split the ball. No, Johnson had to come and support Steve Johnson. The ball with the Crows. The ball will be taken over. Chris Knights was there. Inside 50. Well done, Petrenko.
Oh, look, it was great too, wasn't it? Tony Armstrong, who was really good with his disposal, coming again into the middle of the ground. They use it well. They're running and taking him on. Whether you've got quick legs or not, it's how quickly you move the footy, and you've got to use it well.
Marriage taps delightfully. Chance there for Riley. Flicks it out. Henderson kicks for goal and kicks a goal. Around his body, Marrick deserved the pat on the back, Ivan Marrick. And the Crows are 2 straight 12. Geelong are behind. 13 gone first term. Earlier today, the West Coast Eagles had a win. They won by, let's work it out, that 48 points over Melbourne, and Richmond beat Sydney by 43 points.
I've been really impressed early in the game by Aidan Riley. First game last week up at the Gabba. Just, Jamo looks really poised around the contest, doesn't panic, just use the right option. Was happy to dodge a few Geelong players and just release Henderson, who snapped nicely around his body.
Probably another example too, just composed, thought about it, didn't really falter under pressure. But what I do know about him from the club's perspective is that he loves the contest. He's very physical, and they love it when he's away, that he approaches the footy.
Bounce of the ball, won by Vardy. He'll get the ball out of the centre. Back towards Selwood. Wriggles clear over towards Christensen, towards Ling. First time I called in. It's a mully grubber inside 50. Which way will it bounce? It eludes Steve Johnson. Taken by Odden's half pass. Bit of hope. Ling coming down the ground. This tackle too high. There's a Crow sitting on a Geelong player. In fact, it's ruled a throw. So I thought Ling coming through with the orange hair was going to get the free kick. And it will be taken by young Talia, who's on Ottens. What a challenge for the youngster. Going well at the moment.
A couple of tough ones. Scott Thompson and Joel Selwood just having a chat. There's another kick, misses the body.
It goes to Thompson, to Doughty, and to Van Berlo towards Sloan. They're lining up the Crows. Armstrong over the top. Player finally is free. Bursting clear is Knights. He's tackled. Brilliant tackle by Taylor. So Geelong counter. A long ball from Duncan. Inside 50. Otten's got his name written all over it. Plunges the hands out and takes the ball left forward pocket. One mistake and you're gone.
Well, it was great though, isn't it too? You can see what Adelaide are trying to manufacture, Stephen. They are coming. They've got run and support again. That runner from behind, handball receive, which generates just that line through. But if you can't maintain it, you get burnt coming back the other way.
It's almost Adelaide of 4 or 5 years ago, isn't it? Just that line of defenders from the back half, just almost like a rugby union side, just running in the numbers through the middle of the ground. But just great tackling by the Cats to turn it over and give Ottens this opportunity.
Otten from Glenelg went to Richmond. Now with Geelong, acute angle, 20 metres out. He's tried hard to miss. He has. Maybe it's the day for the Crows. 10 points is the lead. Adelaide 2 straight 12. Geelong 2 behinds 2 points. 15 minutes gone. Anthony Tucker.
Well, Scott Thompson, after a quiet 3 or 4 minutes, Rogers come out and 9 disposals, now having his best year ever, he did say, for the Crows.
Quarter has gone 15 minutes. I just wonder, and Michael Philippo's right on the money too. I just wonder about how Graham Choncock really is down there. He got some problems earlier on as Doughty from defence. Just toe pokes the ball a few metres, but necessary over towards Knights, who gives it back to Doughty. Doughty's kick, there's going to be some issues. No hand pass comes towards McKernan. Crows are really handballing quite a lot. McKernan's kick off balance towards Varco. Well taken, Gunston. Gunston flick over the top to Petrenko. Petrenko has to spin around. Petrenko lays the boot into the ball up towards full forward. No whistle in defence. Taylor has it. He's just wild about Harry. He's pretty cool. Off to Podsy Ardley, who's doing good work in defence. Now Menzel. Menzel's kick in towards half-back where Duncan's got it. Duncan flicks it over the top towards Enright. The Cats rebound brilliantly. The kick around towards centre wing. Taken by Bartel, playing his 200th. He goes inboards. Here comes Kelly. Kelly knocks it on brilliantly towards Johnson. Stevie Johnson taken off the contest. Well played in defence, Crows. Van Berlo got it to Doughty. And Doughty's kick is good around towards centre wing. It's marked by Matthew Wright.
Wright has the ball. Twirl of the yellow ball. Crows by 10 points. Very promising. And the ball moved by Dangerfield. It's too high for Gunston. Walker's lurking on the opponent there, and it's taken by Varco, but it's dropped a mistake. In goes Gunston, hands and knee stuff over towards Van Berlo. Smother was magnificent and required on top of the player. Can't see him because he sat on. What will the umpire do? It comes out tunnel ball style. A chance for Kelly to just have a look and move the ball towards Christensen. Freedom on the wing. Hand passes loose for Steve Johnson. Uncharacteristic. In goes a grateful Doughty. Swings the ball inboard. They're lining up the Crows. Taken by Knights. Twirls the hand pass over towards Vince, towards Sloane. Pick him up. He's got a lot of hair like Surf Life saving. Back towards Vince. He's bumped down the field. Free kick goes to Vince and in goes Sloane. Bit of pushing and shoving. It's promising from the Crows, and the ball taken by Petrenko. A long ball towards the forward pocket. Walker goes to fist, knocks the ball onto the ground. Taken by Enright, bit of tunnel ball, meets his teammate Lonergan. Lonergan over the top towards Duncan. Geelong out of trouble, down by 10 points. Bartel a mark halfback.
Bartel plays on. Oh, he's in trouble. He hand passes to Menzel, who's in trouble as well. There's some ferocity here. Here's a chance for the Crows through Riley. His kick was poor. And it's marked by Enright. A real urgency from the Crows as Enright's kick marked by Hunt. Josh runs away, hoofs the ball a fair distance from half back in towards half forward. Knocked away there from Mooney. Into the path there of Selwood. He crashes to the ground for Geelong. Umpire watches. He's going to ping someone. No, he's not. Scotty Thompson waits from the outside to try and grab it. Cut off by Kelly, the hand pass. Kelly kicks towards half forward, taken by Podsy Adley. The Podster has it now. His hand pass is all of 30 metres. You've got to back Stevie Johnson. He hooks for goal from the pocket. He curls it around, but not enough. And it's through for a behind. Geelong are 3 behinds. The Crows are 2 straight 12. 18 gone first term. Michael Philippo.
Well, Peter, just to give you an indication about the conditions down here, you can see the breeze is favouring Geelong, so Adelaide playing exceptionally well, and Chris Scott being so busy on the telephone. Bartel, Enright, Ottens all had the opportunity to hear the coach's message.
Dropped by Vince, recovers over towards Riley, clean bowls him, taken by Wazinski, has a look, moves the ball towards Podsy Adley and Big Vardy. Closing on him is Talia, ball at centre half forward for Geelong. Adelaide absolutely desperate, they pounce on Steve Johnson, ball they shout. Selwood loses the ball, crash goes Van Berlo, comes to Bartel, round his body, it wobbles towards the goals. Otten is there, guides the ball, not over the line, over towards John Cock. Terrific performance by the Crows so far. 19 minutes gone, Geelong don't have a goal, and Adelaide have 2, and the ball knocked away from Aidan Riley by Chapman, who started on the interchange on the outer side. Rod Jamieson.
It's as good as games I've seen all year, I think. Certainly here at Football Park, Adelaide and Port Adelaide struggling, but both sides under real pressure at both ends.
I've seen some pretty bad ones here, Temo.
Oh, I think that's indicative of the pressure that's being applied.
Good. This is good stuff. Last game to complete round 21, where earlier today the West Coast Eagles had an easy win, and Richmond upset Sydney. Richmond sit on, well, they can't make the top 8, but Sydney at 38. Ahead of them, St Kilda 42, Essendon 42, and the West Coast 56. With Carlton 58, Hawthorn 60, and the two who've cleared away, Collingwood 72, and Geelong on 68. as we see from the half-back line. Ball taken by Thompson, who kicks across towards Armstrong, who'll take the mark. Good work there again by Aidan Riley. Kick into the middle, and the Crows can build. Mark taken there by Van Berlo across the ground. Dowdy kept running. He's got it. Next kick so important. Kicks towards the half-forward line. It's marked by Otten. Otten gives it across to Riley, who kept on running. Short pass is not good. And it's marked in defence by Hunt. Hunt's kick smothered off the boot. It's a hot one. It is a hot one. Henderson. John Cock kicks for goal and misses. Had a chance. Not a lot. A lot of breathing space out there. Crows 2-1-13. Geelong 3 behind. 21 gone first quarter.
Yeah, Cats just look like they're playing like millionaires, just throwing the ball around, not really giving Adelaide perhaps the respect that they deserve, and the Crows' pressure is really putting them under some duress.
And Wright knocked the ball away from Taylor, who dropped the mark towards Knight on that left boot, back inside 50. Mark Dangerfield slides onto one knee. Terrific football by Adelaide, Rod. They are really pumped up. You can't write the script, and their support and the variety of the play is terrific.
Well, I think if you have a look at the inside 50s, Adelaide 13, Geelong 10, but that's probably the first kick that's actually found its mark inside 50. Otherwise, they've just missed it too. So contest generally, up at Adelaide are up and about and taking them well and truly on. Looks like Graham Johncock's gone to the middle. And the run again, you can see Adelaide just trying to generate that run. Take a mark, get the handball, move it on.
Chris Knight's 10 goals for the season, interrupted by injury. This is Dangerfield. He's that characteristic sort of walk in, twirl of the ball, angle acute, about 30 metres out, and he heads to the northern end, and he's missed. Can't afford to miss those. 11 points to lead. Adelaide 2-2-14. Geelong 3 behind 3 points. Listen to the crowd, Stephen.
That was poor, wasn't it? Patrick Dangerfield, we've seen this season kick pretty well. He's started his kicking up, but that was a real shank. He had a real opportunity then to give Adelaide a terrific start. Missed that real easy one.
Josh Hunt kicks a long ball towards the half-back line. In the middle, fisted by Menzel close to the boundary line. Rushing in, Christensen couldn't gather. Podsiadly up at half-back, got a hand pass. It's flicked back out towards Menzel to Selwood. Selwood, who was involved in that knock earlier on with an advantage down the ground. Don't know whether we'll see that again. Here comes Armstrong. Sloan takes the mark. That's centre half forward. Just on that, Selwood, the knock. And there was an advantage paid downfield. Anything in it?
Not much, no, not much at all. But just you can tell the Cats are off the ball just there with Paul Chapman had the opportunity to tackle Armstrong, and he just waltzed around him like he wasn't there. And we know Chapman, when he's switched on, people don't get around him. So the Cats just not there. Adelaide playing at their optimum.
Rory Sloan crosses 50. This for the third goal of the quarter, and the kick. It starts to curl back. Not enough. Through for a behind. Crows 2-3-15. Geelong 3 behind. 23 gone. First term. Anthony Tucker in the back of the box.
All the stats favouring the Crows: 100 disposals to 80, clearances 9-2, contested possession 32-28, and the tackle count 23-12. Scott Thompson 10 disposals, Van Berlo, Vince and Doughty with 8.
A long ball from Menzel to the wing off the knee of Corey. Support push from Podsiadly. Onto the ground goes the desperate Crow in. Thompson taken by Oddens towards Duncan. Moving's hand pass to Johnson. Attacking end of centre half forward over towards Mooney. Winds up. Pursued by McKernan. Bobs and weaves and just stabs the ball up towards the goals. Mark taken by Podsiadly, who ran down the ground. Just angled in. And he has to kick a goal here for Geelong. Surely, Rod Jamieson. We've played 23 minutes and Geelong sort of drawing the breath in, thinking, we better get a goal here.
Well, the J-Pods kicked 42 up to this point. Should not miss it. Cam Mooney, well done too. Under pressure, just looked inside. Not a great deal of space and be able to dispose well. When you have a look at Adelaide's behinds, Rory Sloan, Graham Johncock, Patrick Dangerfield, I'm sure that's where Mark Bickley be saying, composure, you've got all the time in the world. They've missed 3 goals from only 30 metres out.
Podsiadly to the southern end. Slight breeze. Should not miss. On that left foot. He's tried hard to miss. It's a goal. It snuck through. Geelong had their first goal. It took 24 minutes of the opening term in perfect conditions. Adelaide 2-3-15. Geelong 1-3-9 on grandstand. Stephen Williams.
It's just nice work by Cam Mooney. He's been in front. He's hasn't had a terrific service so far, but just the poise was able to pick the ball up off the ground there and just get around Talia, who's done a pretty good job. It's actually McKernan that he got around, and just a great little chip inside to Podsiadly, who was able to go back there and put the Cats on the board. So Adelaide probably controlled the quarter, Jamo, but only a 1-goal lead, so really haven't got the reward for the effort that they put in.
I think Chris going to like the pressure that's being applied after the last couple of weeks. They have, not suggesting that Look, I think one good thing about Geelong, they don't really worry too much about the scoreboard. They just play in that manner and try and put sides away. But the pressure being applied is very impressive by Adelaide.
Ottens won the tap, goes to half forward. Johnson flicks the ball wide towards Christensen, who tried to break a tackle and will be pinged for holding the ball. Willie? No, it bursts out to Ling. Ling on the left boot, bangs it down towards full forward. Or Mooney might have been hung on to from behind, no whistle. Chapman goes in there, flicked out of the pack neatly. Chance now for Dowdy, who got rid of it to Marich. Over the top it goes to Van Berlo. His short kick, touch play on is the call. Touch play on is the call. Varco came in, laid the tackle. And because I think there might have been some confusion, there was no ping of that. Back it goes there with Chapman on the ball. Chapman got rid of it, kicked to half forward. All too easy in the finish, and Johnson takes the mark. Well played in the middle there for Geelong by Joel Corey. And now Stevie Johnson has the mark and the shot at goal from about 45 metres out.
That's the danger, Walshy, when you're playing against Geelong and you're playing up and down the middle of the ground. You turn the ball over in that area there with the class of players that they got, they'll hurt you on the rebound.
Stevie Johnson, one of the most popular players in the competition, drives it home for a goal, and Johnson kicks a quick response. That's 2 in a row. And Johnson, who's been such a wonderful player for the Geelong Football Club, moves the Cats to 2-3-15. The Crows are 2-3-15. Johnson 40 goals for the season and 353 in his career. Jamo.
Oh, look, I think you just go back to the likes of Joel Corey. In the middle of the ground, heavy traffic, to spot someone up like that too. Just hold your kick, being able to get it over the top of opposition and your teammates to find him is... that's what Geelong do very well.
Travis Varco also, his pressure has been terrific. Some really good tackles, a great tackle on right there just to turn the ball over, and the Cats are able to get it full with Johnson free inside 50.
Grandstand AFL on ABC Local Radio, Digital Radio and streaming on the web. Richmond beating Sydney by 43 points. West Coast over Melbourne by 48 points. Bounce the ball, good one too. Vardy and Jacobs. Jacobs goes in and does some roving, pins the ball to the opponent. My ball, says the umpire. And getting up off the turf is Joel Corey. Flicks the ball back, and the umpire will bounce the ball again, just away from the little circle. And it's flicked down by Jacobs, rowed by Christensen. It came off the head of Vince. Which way will it go? Dangerfield's committed himself. The ball comes out towards Vince to John Cox. Comes off a Geelong player there in Duncan, which is still the attacking end of the square. Now Geelong has sort of worked the ball out of the square. Strong tackle going on Otten. Emerging. Look at the players bore in from all angles, both sides. Fantastic courage and commitment. My ball again. That was right on the siren. And how ironical. Adelaide probably had 70% of the play, Peter Walsh, and it scores a level, 2-3-15, Adelaide and Geelong.
Stirring game of football. Grandstand AFL, ABC Local Radio, Digital Radio and streaming on the web. They started zip and they finish all square. The Crows 2-3-15, Geelong 2-3-15 for the Crows. Ivan Maric has kicked one and Ricky Henderson won for Geelong. James Podsiadly won and Stevie Johnson won. Earlier today it was the West Coast Eagles 16-14-110 defeating Melbourne 9-8-62 and Richmond 14-15-99 defeating Sydney 7-14-56. Scores level at half-time, the last game to complete round 21 in the AFL. Grandstand AFL on ABC Local Radio, Digital Radio and streaming on the web. 2-3-15, each of two here at Football Park.
G'day, Tony Delroy. Ongoing drought and conflict has left 12 million people in crisis in Somalia, Ethiopia, Djibouti and Eritrea. Thousands are in desperate need of food and medical care. You can help by donating to UNHCR. Call them on 1300 440 433. Or for other ways you can assist, visit abc.net.au/East Africa Appeal. Right now, you can make a difference.
This is Sunday Afternoon Football on ABC Local Radio.
Best place in the house, folks, I can tell you, because all of the games covered every weekend. The AFL heading towards the end of round 21. The Crows 2-3-15, Geelong 2-3-15, 3-15. And we'll get our experts Rod Jamieson and Stephen Williams to pick pieces the first quarter in a sec. Michael Philippou, the interchanges as we start the second term.
Duncan, Vardy, Menzel for Geelong with Burns a substitute, and for the Adelaide Crows, Petrenko, Armstrong, Marich with Smith still in the substitute jersey.
Roving by Thompson, and Van Berlo up towards Walker, takes the ball, recovers, pinned onto the ground by Lonergan. A little hand pass from Ling across to Wazinski. Corey arms free, hand pass automatic. Van Berlo the crumbs, takes the ball. Vince comes inboard, chance to place the ball, have a look, and the mark will be taken by Gunston. Good, clever football. Look at the Crows go to the players' rod. And I can't wait to watch Jack Gunston. So watching him kick for goal in the warm-up and last week at Brisbane, a terrific kicking style, and this early on to pick up a goal for Adelaide.
It's not a tall forward line either too. You've got Walker who's up there, Henderson also, Gunston similar size, but outside of that, Sloane starting up there, and so is Wright along with Aidan Riley.
Gunston directly out from 50 metres. You build them up, Buttercup, and he's lucky to score a behind. It's Adelaide 2-4-16, Geelong 2-3-15. But I still think his kicking style is pretty good, Stephen.
It's a good style, but isn't it great when you see the quality players get the ball in their hands? Bernie Vince just makes good decisions when he's got the ball. He had a slow start to the season, but really starting to ramp it up now and showing that he is an elite midfielder when he's playing well.
Hunt into play towards half-back. Knight stands tall and takes a very courageous grab. Too far out, so he elects to kick it long. Taylor Walker shuffles for possession. He gave over the top of the head Lonergan a whack, and that will be the free kick. Lonergan with the beard.
Doesn't Josh Hunt give him a thump?
He does. Lonergan's kick from deep in defence. Around towards the half-back line, knocked away from Podsiadly. And it's Johncock's got it. He's stolen the ball. He's on the boundary line. Johncock comes in, shoots for goal. It's across the face, and it's touched on the line. Still a hot ball. It's Rory Sloane rushes after it. Enright's there. Sloane lays the tackle on Varco. It's still a hot ball. Sloane goes back in for a third effort. He's after the ball. Here comes Wojcinski. He's caught. Umpire says, holding the ball. Free kick, Nathan Van Berlo in the left forward pocket. That was true grit. He would not give up.
Just leading by example, the skipper, wasn't it? Rory Slow, we know what he's about. They love him in the midfield too. Just gets hold of the opposition, if not the footy.
Van Berlo, about 20 metres around from where the Crows run onto Football Park. Comes in now to shoot for goal, right on the boundary line. Van Berlo, drop punt, kick on its way. Hits the post. Crows 2-5-17, Geelong 2-3-15. Any stats in the first term of subs since Anthony Tucker?
Well, certainly Adelaide leading in disposals by 14. Contested possession pretty even, 36-35 the Crows' way. Clearances 9-3. Tackles though 30-15 for the Crows, and leading the tackle count, the man that just got the free kick then, Nathan Van Berlo, had 4 tackles. He's now up to a game high 12 disposals.
A long kick into Taylor. That was magnificent from Hunt over towards a leap and Christensen. On the wing, balks the hand pass, play on's the call. Christensen can stop and then lobs the ball high. A lot of work for Selwood to do. Talia's there, takes the mark, did enough. Well done. And had his eyes right on the ball. He goes back towards Riley. That's Brent Riley. We've got an Aidan Riley as well. Different spelling. And to quiz questions, Andy Otten has the ball. On the mark is Mooney doing the chasing. Hand pass, an awkward one towards Vincey. Wriggles clear. Well done. Has a bounce. Pursued by Stokes. Hardly called Stokes. Dangerfield takes the ball. On the wing on the outer side. Glides the hand pass to a linking Otten. A wobbly ball towards half forward. Which way that will go? Ball under the ground. Lonergan's there. Does the crumbs. Hand pass through the hands of Varco. In goes Sloane. His boot goes into Varco. Ball's on the ground. Half forward for Adelaide. They're working hard. They're slow. They're absolutely desperate. Sloane has the ball. Pinged by Wazinski. Onto the ground goes Thompson. Back pedals. He back pedals into Hunt. What will the umpire do inside 50? It's terrific football by Adelaide. As Geelong, of course, as well, Stephen. Good contest.
It is a good contest. The Cats really pushed hard to hold Adelaide inside their forward 50, but Adelaide just really taking a lot of risk with their play, and at the moment it's coming off.
Ottens tries to win the ball away, did so. Almost cleaned up one of the central umpires, and Selwood, his teammate, had to get out of the way, and they'll do it again.
One thing they're really doing well is actually drawing the player. So giving the player, rather than Geelong protect the space, they've got to get to that opposition player, and then once you do that, you can then open up some space.
Ottens won the tap, didn't travel too far. A hand pass, Jacobs to Sloane to Knights. Knights knocks it across towards the boundary line. Here's a chance now for Vince, who breaks clear, kicks long. Petrenko versus Hunt. Petrenko. Hunt stands there and says something that's not Very imaginative. Unfortunately, we haven't got a radio mic close handy.
It was poor play by Hunt. Just lost any feel on Petrenko, and he has the body size to be able to hold Petrenko out, but just lost touch with him, and Petrenko was able to take a uncontested mark almost in the goal square.
Jared Petrenko. Crows lead by 2 points. Petrenko kicks for goal. Crows lead by 8 points. Adelaide Crows 3-5-23. Geelong 2-3-15. Grandstand AFL on ABC Local Radio, digital radio and streaming on the web. Peter Walsh and Roger Wills, your callers. Experts Rod Jamieson and Stephen Williams. Our man who is providing the stats, Anthony Tucker. Michael Phillippo on the boundary line. Rod Jamieson, your thoughts with the Crows getting the first of the second term?
I'll highlight a couple of the real tough, contested football. They're even there. The tackling's in favour of Adelaide. The inside 50's in favour of Adelaide. And if you have a look at Nathan Van Berg, the skipper leading by example. Rory Sloane up forward too. Bernie Vince, after a very good first quarter again, just working out, holding onto the football, not getting rid of it. No players coming to him. That's what I'm saying. He's making a Geelong player come to him before he gives up the footy.
Adelaide 3-5-23, Geelong 2-3-15. Listen to the crowd, the home crowd, the roving by Sloane. Straight down the ground, looking for Walker. They fly. It's off. Walker takes the mark. Second bite of the cherry. He looks around and says, who me? Yes, it was. Another goal coming up.
Just the beauty of that long click, the clearance which Adelaide are absolutely toweling the Cats up in. Sloane was the player, was a beautiful penetrating drop punt kick that went in there quickly, which forwards like, and Walker just got one hand of the ball, knocked it up in the air and was able to grab it again with his other two hands, and Adelaide just taking the Cats apart. Handball's received play on from a mark is just really in favour of the Adelaide side. They're really throwing caution to the wind today.
What about Jacobs? Down to Sloane, the bearded one from Broken Hill. Taylor Walker, 35 metres out, should not miss. He does it! Crowd roars their approval. Adelaide by 14 points over the second place Geelong. We've played 7 minutes in the second term. Adelaide 4-5-29. Geelong 2-3-15.
Probably critical of Taylor Walker in the first quarter, and even part of this second is he's actually playing behind a lot. So I'd like again to see him just lead up. There's always that quick clearance kick out of the centre. And Walshy, what about his beard?
Yeah, it's different. I'd suggest he's been in Broken Hill for a couple of weeks just to get himself organised.
Maybe after he had that beer, he's trying to go incognito.
I don't know, but he's kicked a goal. It's 4-5-29, the Crows. Geelong 2-3-15. A lot of Geelong fans in Victoria texting me already, Roger. Oh, it's good stirring stuff, and this is where a home ground. Hardly this year have we been able to say there's been a decent crowd. Well, it's a good one today. Good scrap. So much time left to do all sorts of things. Sloane rushes after it out of the middle. John Cock taken. Got it towards Sloane, who in turn gave towards Armstrong, who just came on. Armstrong's kicked to the half-forward line. Petrenko knocked on, or almost to him there by Van Berlo, but in control now is Hunt. Got a hand pass. Knocked away over towards the running past Bartel. Good work there by Vardy. Into the middle, holding the ball again. Advantage paid to half-forward. Maric takes the mark. Turns and will kick long as the Crows player down.
Petrenko.
Oh, watch Maric goes to centre half forward. Jacobs takes the mark. Oh, he fired the hand pass out towards right. It right sockets it in mid-air, and it's gone out of bounds on the full. Umpire down there saying that there was no chalk. He's a lot closer than where we are.
I think that's bounced in, Walshy.
Oh, no, I don't know. It's a bit hard to tell. Come on, Jamo, just concentrate.
That's the closest part of the ground for you.
Well, no, I don't disagree with the decision. I thought it was fair.
What a great chase down by Jared Petrenko then. It looked like Joel Corey would kick the ball deep into the Cats' forward half, but just he ran 40 metres to win that ball. Terrific work.
Definitely no chalk, Rod. The ball's with Hunt. A long ball is probably too wet to have chalk as they fly. Ball up towards half-foot, taken by McKernan. Utility man towards Doughty. Goes to the hand pass to Johncock, half back. He goes further back. Go by Armstrong. The ball's knocked down by Kelly's read it well. He's got Johnson with him. Ball onto the ground. Steve Johnson there. Bit of tunnel ball. Paddlers to Kelly. Round his body. Dive on the line. Magnificent effort by Talia. Saving a goal. Fantastic football, so no score at end. Geelong haven't scored in this term, but the ball's fisted onto the ground by Mooney. Round to Podsiadly, one mistake. Goal Geelong! Should not have happened. Second to Podsiadly, much needed. 10 minutes gone. What happened there, Steve Williams? 8 points the lead to Adelaide. They're 4-5-29, the Crows. Geelong 3-3-21.
I think if you're going to play the footy that Adelaide are playing, you're just going to have to be aware that they've got to turn the ball over and make some mistakes. They're playing on, they're really taking it up to the Cats, but let's not forget that the Cats are as good as anybody in this competition, and Adelaide just have tried to short pass in the back half. The Cats players have read it pretty well, intercepted, and that was the goal just by the forward pressure applied by the Geelong side.
Yeah, well played down there, Cam Moody. Michael Phillippo on the boundary line.
Well, I can confirm, Walshy, that was in fact out on the full. Just saw the replay, and Shannon Burns pretty keen and eager to get out there for the Cats. He's the substitute, but he's warming up and down, showing Chris Scott that he wants to get out on the field.
I'm going to Hawkeye, Michael.
8 points the difference. Crows lead, loving this game of football, loving this game as the ball kicked out of the middle there by Bartel after he received it from Vardy. Here comes Selwood. Selwood loops the ball over the top. Johnson fends off a tackle one way or the other. His kick was smothered, and that's perseverance from Ottens. Over to Dangerfield. Dangerfield lost control of the ball, taken there by Enright. Kick across towards centre half forward. Bartel takes it, and Bartel from Corey, it should have been earlier on, I'm sorry. And the short pass was on, and it's marked up there by Mitch Duncan. Perhaps just a little bit too far out to score.
Just much better pressure around the ball, wasn't it, by Geelong then? Just really starting to ramp up the pressure, and Adelaide starting to cough up a few turnovers.
Duncan at 50 kicks the ball a long way, and a very straight kick. It's home. What a root that was from Mitch Duncan, and the Cats get the last 2 goals. Adelaide 4-5-29, Geelong 4-3-27. Grandstand AFL, ABC Local Radio, digital radio, and streaming on the web.
Transition's a big part of today's game, but you don't want to be able to then go back, miss the body as well, and that's where Adelaide's kick across the middle of the ground in the play previous, which has allowed Geelong to score that one prior, is it just sits in the air too long. So the pressure that is applied and the speed in which Geelong get back to you, you've got to be able to hit your body. Otherwise, just get it down the line, 50, 60 metres, and you're out of trouble.
Adelaide 4-5-29, Geelong 4-3-27, 12 minutes gone, second term. Grandstand AFL on ABC Local Radio, digital radio, and streaming on the web. The old Jonathan Livingstons have turned up, the Seagulls lurking around, looking for the scraps. Good game of footy though, and there's Thompson doing the roving, goes back towards Doughty, ever-present half-back, chips the ball towards Armstrong over his shoulder. Which way will it bounce? Not favourable, taken by Duncan. Hand pass was brilliant, a diving hand pass, gets the ball back from his teammate and Wazinski. Geelong lining up on the wing, taken by Stokes. First time I've called him magnificent. 30 metres, hand pass to Ling, doesn't muck around, long ball to a back peddling Podsiadly, ball under the ground. Helping out is Riley of Adelaide, ball under the ground again, taken by Brent Riley, ball emerging with Knights, under pressure, mistake, goal coming up, and Chapman chips it to the goals, through the goals, to the Geelong cheer squad. One mistake and you're gone. I know it's a cliche. Geelong in front by 4 points, 5-3-33. Adelaide 4-5-29.
Yeah, just some of the Geelong stars really starting to get themselves into the game at this stage, and once again Jamo and Adelaide turnover coming back inside, which you get good reward from it, but when you turn the ball over it costs you in goals, and that would be probably 3 or 4 now that the Cats have scored from Adelaide direct turnovers coming inside.
Stephen and Rod have mentioned about the handball receives, and 67-48 in favour of Adelaide at the moment. 8 to Van Berlo, John Cock and Vinsel providing plenty of run.
Mitch Duncan too, just out here, he was the one, wasn't he? Really stretched for it. Before he even really hit the ground, the handball went to a teammate, Wazinski, coming through, and they don't hold onto the football very long at all.
Jacobs got first touch on it. Thompson got a little niggle from Selwood, not too bad. In goes John Cock, can't take it. Kelly does well for Geelong. Gets out of traffic on the right boot to Patziadly! You beauty! He flies and takes the grab at centre half forward. He appeared to be off balance, but he flew through the air. And he's taken a fine grab about 35 to 40 metres out directly in front, and will hope to add to his 2 goals already in this afternoon of football.
This is the challenge now for Adelaide. They're really going to get taken to task here too. So we've already seen Geelong start to win the football, use it cleanly and finish better. This is their challenge.
James Podsiadly, a hero at Cardinia Park, directly in front. Drop punt kick on its way is offline and through for a behind. Geelong's first one flag result in this quarter. The Cats are 5-4-34 and they led the Crows 4-5-29. 15 minutes gone earlier. The West Coast Eagles beat Melbourne 16-14 to 9-8, and Richmond 14-15 beat Sydney 7-14.
And the Crows head across from Thompson towards Dowdy. A couple of veterans pursued by Stokes, linking with John Cock. Bump goes John Cock, taken out. Pressure on McKernan. Here comes the Stokes with the crumbs. They're lining up Geelong. Wazinski's hand pass towards Duncan, as mentioned. Just jams the ball. He's been backpedaling as Christensen will take the mark. Left forward pocket. Geelong players streaming down the field. Will he go the kick? Will he go to someone leading? Yeah, look at Steve Johnson streaming out, shaking his head. Why didn't you give it to me? Christensen, a talented player. And it's 5 points to lead to Geelong. Now, we run around. The angle is acute. Doesn't look bad off the boot. Oh, way to the left, behind. 6 points to lead to Geelong. 5-5-35. Adelaide 4-5-29.
Yeah, I'm all about part of their ethic and the way that Geelong have done it very well is their score assists, and they hold that in high regard. When you've got 2 or 3 players in the middle of the ground, Cameron Ling, Paul Chapman, that you need to go to, you want to give it up very quickly to them.
Riley's kick marked by Van Berlo under Dowdy. The ball at centre into Otten. Otten kicks long towards Sloan. He's got it. He's off. He steadies. He kicks. It's poor, but Taylor Walker has the grab. Taylor Walker pretty anxious to do something. He's gone the short pass. That's all right. Marich. And when I say all right, well, there's a teammate who's got the mark. That's Ivan Marich, who kicked the first goal of the game. Played a lot of football for Port Adelaide in the SANFL. Worked his way back. And he's one of those players that's really important now to finish off this season on a high before you look at what's going on with the lists. Otten stands on the mark. He's 35 out directly in front. Marich kicks like a big man. Careful, I shouldn't say that. He kicks poorly, I will say.
Too late.
Too late, I'm sorry, I apologise. The Crows 4-6-30. Geelong 5-5-35, 17 gone, second quarter.
That's that high reward talking about Adelaide getting the ball out from the kick out. Just swept the ball down the ground with some beautiful clean skills, and Marich should have kicked that goal. Pretty easy opportunity, and they need to make the most of them.
They've had probably 3 or 4 chances they've missed, Stephen. A long torpedo. Now the whistle goes. Which way's it gone? Potts, the Adelaide defensive end of the square. It's played on by Geelong, and the ball's moved over towards Stokes. Suddenly he's inside 50. Chips the ball across towards his teammate Mooney, who run into the goal square and jammed through a goal. That was amazing. Rod Jamison, you said, kicked the ball long. What about the ball burster from Hunt? Suddenly Geelong by 11 points. 6-5-41. Adelaide 4-6-30. That's one of the most amazing goals I've seen all season.
That's what I love about Geelong too. I really do. I know to some it might look like a bit of layer rising. Josh Hunt's kicked a massive screw punt. I think it was Stevie Johnson's kicked the next screw punt in the middle of the ground. And Stokes has seen Cam Mooney out the side, so he's come horizontal just to get it to him and run into an easy goal.
Yeah, that's as you mentioned before, Tim. They do share the ball around inside that forward 50, which is great to see teammates doing that to each other. But we talked about Adelaide's quick transition from one end of the ground to the other for a point. Geelong showed them how to do it a little bit better by finishing off with that goal.
Yeah, that's where it hurts big time. If Ivan Marich doesn't kick the goal, he didn't. Mooney did. Out of the middle, Ottens taps well to Ling to half forward. Stokes got it across to Selwood by way of hand to Chapman. Chapman for the Cats, kicks long towards centre half forward. Bartell's in front. Jimmy Bartell, you've got it. 45 from goal directly in front. Graham Johncock just couldn't quite get to the contest. And Jimmy Bartell, 200 games. What a super player he's been. Another one who's got a scruffy beard, Stephen. You'd like that, don't you?
Well, one of the great marks too for a midfield player. He is terrific above his head, and Graham Johncock just did not have the ability to punch the ball away.
Go Jimmy's the call from the Cats fans. He's 48 from goal. Jimmy Bartell, drop and kick and goal. There's home for those blue and white fans, and there's plenty of them here at Football Park. And the Cats have their 5th for the term, and they're 7-5-47, opening up a big gap. The Crows are 4-6-30, 19 minutes gone in the second term.
I'll preface this saying, Walshy, that I read this article, but apparently, just to add to all his credentials, Andrea is the hottest bloke playing in the AFL.
No, you
as you get thumbs up from the back of the box, Walshy.
He's looking around because Roger Wills' 2 daughters are here, and actually, one of your daughters has broken out into a cold sweat. That's Claire, and Alice is... Yeah, she's going hello and holding up the 2 hands, Roger. So we've got the big Bo Derek from the back of the box. 10-10-10.
More importantly, Jimmy's a very good cricketer. At the 7-minute mark, Adelaide by 14, 19 minutes gone. It's Geelong by 19. 7-5-47, Adelaide 4-6-30. And Geelong have combined as a talent. I mean, someone like Matthew Stokes, suddenly he's been in everything, Stephen.
Yeah, they're starting to get their hands on the ball in the middle. Adelaide really dominated those clearances in the first quarter and a bit, but Geelong really now starting to show what they can do.
And Ottens knocks the ball down towards Sloane, got in the way. Well done. Knight's intercepted, taken over the top by Brodie Smith. Awkward to pick up, working very hard. The ball is on the ground. It was Aidan Riley dragged down as Sloane. Look at Geelong commit. They're putting pressure on Adelaide, who thought they had the ball clear. 3 in there. The ball's on the ground. Knee stuff from Selwood. Vince, magnificent. Van Berlo snaps the ball in his boot, but Geelong have got the numbers. The ball, a long ball, cleared away by Lonergan over towards Podsiadly. Weaving down the ground, and Podsiadly's everywhere for a big man. He's got a couple of goals. Geelong go forward leading by 17 points, and they fly knocked away from Bartel by John Cox. Taken by Knights. Here comes John Cox. Love watching him play footy. Look out, Ivan.
Ivan Maddock got it to Thompson, who slid over, and he's caught with the ball. Scotty Thompson, you're going to be bad luck, is it? No. I'm glad the umpire said no, because he'd slide, and he was beset upon by Cats. Well, they've upped the tempo, there's no doubt about it, Geelong, and playing good footy.
Look, through rotation, the boundaries always use the interchange, but the J-Pod just walked on then.
Here comes Selwood. Takes the ball at centre wing, and Selwood on the turn. Henderson bumps in, but he kicks long towards half forward. McKernan's there. No! That's Kelly who filled up the gap, the space. Kelly thought about playing on, but is told not to, and James Kelly turns and does the walk away from the goal front that he'll now assault. With Geelong 7-5-47, the Crows 4-6-30, 21 and a half minutes gone in the term. And Kelly steps in, crosses 50. James Kelly kicks for goal for Geelong. There's only one person back there, and it's still in play. Jacobs took the mark. There was no one there for Geelong, so the ball didn't make the distance. John Cock has it, slides the ball across towards where Doughty marks. Doughty down the middle of Van Berlo, off to Sloane on the turnover. Chance for the Crows to do some damage now. Kick wide to centre wing, marked by Otten. He'll play on, running past his Knights, but Otten says no, I'm going to kick it along. He kicks. Gunston! No, through his fingertips. Off hands, the Cats will clear. Running hard, Vardy lost control of the ball. Gave it back to Ling. Ling now go by way of hand into the back pocket, and Enright does the clearing for Geelong.
Ball on the outer side, knocked away from Kelly. Spills towards Ling. He's marked by Knights towards Taylor. Tackled by Sloane in pressure. Front on from Henderson. And he's throwing the ball. So the ball will go to, it'll go to Sloane, not Henderson, who did the tackling. Sloane, they love him, the Crows supporters. He puts the ball inside 50 looking for Walker. He's got about 8 opponents lining up. The ball goes towards the boundary line. Over it goes, and it's right forward pocket. Was Gunston there, looks across at Enright. The boy from Kimber, halfway across Australia. You get there, there's a big galah. And he's not a galah as a footballer. As he picks up his opponent at the moment. The ball knocked down by Vardy, and Geelong. Here comes Vince.
Vince, did he duck into a tackle? Dangerfield knocked away well by Ling. Riley's there, got it knocked off him there, and it's punched over the boundary line for a throw-in. Chapman was there. You have to wait now because they're never too sure if that's deliberate. That certainly wasn't. You're allowed to protect the area.
Well played.
Geelong 7-5-47, the Crows 4-6-30, the West Coast and Richmond. Earlier winners in AFL round 21, as it's Thompson for the Crows. Oh, he threw that out, not pinged. Now is a chance for Big Jacobs. He lost control of the ball. Kelly's got it for the Cats. Hand pass Varco. Hand pass on the run. Corey flares the ball wide towards his teammate Enright. Enright goes down the ground. Varco kept on running. Well played. Varco then knocks the ball forward. Cats all over the place. Short pass in towards at centre half forward Corey. Flew high, couldn't take the mark. Knocked towards the boundary line. Varco, he's still going. He has the ball. He lost the ball. Umpire hasn't pinged him. The umpire said play goes on. Varco now lays the tackle. Hand pass back out of the pack goes to John Cock. John Cock to Van Berlo. Van Berlo, Armstrong over the top. Here's a chance now for Thompson. Thompson to Van Berlo. And the Crows on the move. Good kick. Knights marks in the middle. Hand pass Sloane. Sloane. He can see Walker. He kicks to him. Walker will mark. No, he's not. He'll let it run on. He takes it and he kicks a goal. Crows 5-6-36. Geelong 7-5-47. 24 and a half gone, second term.
Just one really against the runner play. The Cats certainly controlling the ball, but Adelaide were able to fast break out of that back half again, had some loose players using the middle of the ground, which they have done so well today. Taylor Walker running back into some open space. Nice kick there by Rory Sloane just to give him time to run onto the ball and kick an easy goal for his second of the match.
For Geelong, the way that they worked it across their half-back line and worked it in the middle of the ground. Travis Varco worked so hard, I thought they could have been rewarded even better, but Tony Armstrong, checkered past last year, had to go back. Ernie's Pennants has come back in. The last couple of weeks has been outstanding.
Crows' first goal since Walker kicked one at the 7-minute mark. Geelong had kicked the previous 5.
Thompson was held by Ling. So Thompson has the ball. Crowd roar their approval. As Thompson moves the ball towards the member side, backpedaling is Chapman. He'll take the mark. Streaming out was Gunston. Didn't quite reach him. Goes back towards the centre circle. Look out. Johnson's weaving some magic. Sweeps the hand pass towards his teammate and Kelly. Punches the hand pass towards Stokes. Another one to Wazinski. The speedboat 40 metres out. Countering goal. Magic. Absolute magic. That's what you've got to do all day against Geelong, isn't it? They lead by 17 points. Geelong 8-5-53. Adelaide 5-6-36 from our high vantage point. Rod Jamieson, classic football.
Oh, it's exceptional, Stephen, isn't it? That is all class.
Yes, if you're bringing someone along to the football and saying this is how our game is played, would you take them to a St Kilda game or would you take them to a Geelong game? I'd suggest you take them to see Geelong play.
You better be careful there. You're sitting next to Anthony Tucker, who's still got a Darryl Ball locked up.
I agree, actually. I agree.
Yeah, that was just beautiful football, wasn't it? And just the way that their handball is just so precise, just beautifully weighted out in front of their teammates, so they run onto it. It's just great to watch.
They don't break stride, do they?
No, it's terrific.
Not at all.
Adelaide now playing a player loose. Van Berlo, Vince it is, loose in defence, which is leaving Varco loose at the other end.
Close to half-time. Brad Ottens, always hand pass, no good. Off hands it goes towards Knights. Hand pass comes wide to Riley. That's Aidan Riley who missed it. Wojcinski, who kicked the last goal, runs away from defence. Take 2 bounces, he does. Hand pass was bullet-like and precise to Corey. Corey slams it down the ground. Johnson runs past the ball. He doesn't need to run back because he's got mates there. Mooney's one of them. Higgins to Bartel. Bartel's short pass was spectacular. Stevie Johnson marks. Hand pass in the square. The man there and Stokes. And it's rushed through for a behind. And perhaps they just over-finessed because Johnson could have quite easily had a shot at goal. He went to Stokes. Stokes had the ball. Talia did so well to wrap him up in that tackle and was rushed through for a behind. Geelong 8-6-54. Adelaide 5-6-36. 28 minutes gone.
Vince has the ball. Kicked into him. Taken by Knights. Been busy in this term. 18 points is the lead. 3 straight goals to switch towards the outer side. Over there with Talia. I mentioned in dispatches the balance from Doughty. A long ball towards the wing looking for Sloane. Bounces in front of him and Taylor, the opponent, takes the ball. Tackled by Sloane round the ribs. Look at that hand pass from Sloane like lightning to Enright, giving him space, giving him time. Placed the ball towards Chapman. Over towards Varco. The boy from Centrals. He's gone long inside 50. Anyone at home? Johnson almost off hand. Taken by Riley. If that's Brent Riley towards Knights. Over the bottom. Doughty gets another opportunity. Half back on the other side.
This kick important. Doughty's kick was all right. Jacobs plays on. The big man fires the hand pass. Oh, Riley missed it. Really crashed into his own teammate Knights. He got it back again to Jacobs. Hand pass John Cock. Ball at centre wing outer side. John Cock unsure of what to do. So he kicks long down towards centre half forward. Taylor Walker's going to have to run and try and beat two. Oh, Ottens cleaned up brilliantly. Front on tackle Riley. It goes to Lonergan. Lonergan got a hand pass away in defence. The catch clear through Enright. Enright has plenty on that. Kicks to Bartel who marks on the outer side. He goes in short to Chapman. And Chapman with 29 minutes ticked on the clock decides to kick wide towards the outer side of the ground, searching for Selwood and finding one of the classiest players in a very competent unit. That's Adam Selwood, who's kicked towards the half forward line. Oh, Stevie Johnson missed that one. Ottens has got it. Hand pass back towards Knights. Knights got it towards Doughty. Doughty's kick. Jacobs, you better turn around. You're a chance, big man. He couldn't quite grab it. It's towards the boundary. Harry Taylor did well. And it's over for a boundary throw in. Frenetic action from both teams. 8-6-54 Geelong. The Crows 5-6-36, 29 gone second term.
What a timely bump from Harry Taylor. Looked like an opportunity for a mark for Adelaide. There goes Sloane. Rips clear over towards his teammate of Knights. Non-preferred across the ground. He might find Gunston. Hunter's there for Geelong. Good use of the body. Arching the body. Taken by Hunt. Doesn't go the left footer. Over towards Christensen. The Cats are lining up. There's about 3 or 4 players free. And the ball will sit up on the wing. Taken by Duncan. Been very impressive. A long ball has got enough legs, and John Cock against Stokes. That'll be a free kick to Stokes over the head. Nothing much John Cock can do. He smiles at his opponent Matthew Stokes, who spent time here at Woodville West Torrens, and John Cock just tried to get in the way. Desperation stuff, and a kick on goal by Matthew Stokes.
Well, he just tried to read the football, Roger, too. I think Geelong had another teammate forward, so he thought he'd anticipate run forward, and the kick went over the back, and the left hand of Graham John Cock popped him behind the ear.
So Stokes, 30 minutes gone. This would be a real nail close to half-time, and he's tried hard to miss the lot. He gets it behind. It's 19 points to lead to Geelong, 8-7-55. Adelaide 5-6-36.
Just a great option by Mitch Duncan. He could have kicked the ball to Stevie Johnson, but just as we see with a lot of the Geelong players, just make the right decisions when they're looking to kick or handball the ball. Just took it to the longer option, and Stokes probably should have kicked that one.
What about Aidan Riley? Didn't he just lock Brad Oddens in from about 20 metres away?
A lot of spirit in this game, but you notice these little things. Graham John Cock, of course, he and Stokes are good mates, and just afterwards there was no malicious intent. Just gave him a pat as they went back on the siren. And I tell you what, if before the game I was to say we had a margin of under 4 goals at half-time between Geelong and the Adelaide Crows, I'd reckon most patrons would have felt reasonably chuffed. This has been a very stirring effort by the Crows, but in saying that, Geelong 6 goals in that second quarter, and they've opened up a very handy lead. Geelong at half-time 8-7-55 lead the Crows 5-6-36. For Geelong, 2 goals to James Podsiadly, singles to Stevie Johnson, Mitch Duncan, Paul Chapman, Cameron Mooney, Jimmy Bartell and David Wojcinski. For the Adelaide Crows, Taylor Walker has kicked 2, and 1 to Jared Petrenko, Ricky Henderson and Ivan Maric.
Menzel, Burns still the substitute, and for the Adelaide Crows, Henderson, Knights, Maric with Smith still in the fluoro green jersey.
Second half actions for Grandstand, AFL, ABC Local Radio, Digital Radio and streaming on the web, Roger Wills.
And the ball socked forward by Geelong. Selwood to centre half forward to Johnson. Balance, weaves around, trying to get away from the tackler over towards Ling, who's come down the ground. A long bomb towards Podsiadly. Strong mark by McKernan. Outstanding. And plenty of opposition there as the ball goes towards Armstrong, who's flattened by Kelly. Armstrong enjoying his comeback and moves the ball towards the centre square, but there's Varco. He read that, and he had his name written all over it. Hand pass towards Corey, 60 metres out, goes towards the forward zone. The Cats get in one another's way. I thought the mark had been taken by Johnson. Not so. It spilled towards Armstrong from Talia. In goes Van Berlo, gets the ball free. Outside 50, in goes Varco, knocks the ball back towards his teammate, and it comes to Selwood. Selwood to Ling. Ball onto the ground. Geelong under pressure at the moment. Just jammed the ball on the boot from Enright. Inside 50. Crows have the numbers. It's knocked down by John Cock. Outside 50. Back towards Selwood. Whistle goes. Free kick will go to the Geelong player. Pushed. Was he pushed? I was watching the ball.
It was a very late call.
Certainly Scott Thompson had a hand in the back, so correct decision by the umpire, but once again Armstrong, it's just a dangerous kick. That long switch kick into the middle gives the opposition time to read it and intercept, and he's been caught a few times like that today.
Kelly, acute angle, doesn't look bad off the boot. It is way to the right. I thought there was no breach to push it across the behind, not a goal. Geelong lead by 20 points, and they're bubbling along at Football Park. The Cats 8-8-56, Adelaide 5-6-36.
James Kelly's only kicked 5 goals for the game. He had a shot 40 metres out and didn't make the distance to the other end, and even on that occasion only just made it, but certainly not indicative. He leads their tackling by plenty at Geelong.
West Coast 16-14, 110 beat Melbourne 9-8-62. Richmond 14-15, 99 beat Sydney 7-14, 56. Dangerfield a little unlucky not to be paid the mark.
55 more tackles than any other teammate, James Kelly.
Yeah, that's a good call. Here comes John Cock. Hand pass didn't travel too far. Thompson got rid of it to Armstrong. That's a better kick. Sloan. He can turn, he can run. Go Rory. Go Rory, you good thing. One bounce. Short pass. Oh, tough call for Taylor Walker. Got hands to it. He's not going to get hold of it because Hunt is, and Hunt kicks very well. They make you pay towards the centre wing where Johnson, very fancy, goes towards Ling, who has to wait under a tough one. And over the back, Doughty took the mark. Doughty flicks the hand pass to Sloan. In turn to Thompson. Thompson goes short down the ground. Walker in front. It's ball from behind. It's going to bounce, and bounce well for Van Berlo, who gets through the pack. And Van Berlo's kick is ever so good into the forward pocket. Marked down there by Wright. Wright will play on, run into the unguarded goal, and bang it through. Gold Crows, 6-6-42. Geelong, 8-8-56. 14 points the margin. Grandstand AFL, ABC Local Radio, digital radio, and streaming on the web.
Well, Adelaide were able to get a goal because of Geelong's turnover. You don't really say that too often. Steve Johnson running down in front of the main grandstand here. Just a mandatory kick straight up to James Podsley-Adley, who was leading at him, decided to come inside, Stephen.
And Nathan Van Burl, I've been really impressed with, since the change of coach, he's been put back into the midfield and he's just been really steady. Just a terrific vision there to see Wright out on his own, and Wright played on, had the confidence to run into the open goal, and as you mentioned, one against the flow, one against the Geelong turnover.
Proud into the play. First goal. Spectacular night. 13 points is just a lead to Geelong. Good bounce from the umpires. Rucks go to it. One by Jacobs. Rowe by Selwyn. There goes Jacobs. Goes to bear hug. He's too tall. So it was over the shoulder. That was a bit unlucky towards Kelly, who's loped towards half forward. Chips the ball. Mark will be taken by Mooney. No one to the ground. Let's push against Talia. As Mooney takes his face out of the turf. Will go up and kick for goal. That quick movement always going to be awkward, Rod, for the youngster.
And that's why I go back to the one before as well. All Steve Johnson had to do was hit Podsley-Adley there. He's a big man in front, and your opponent does not have a chance. And there's every chance then, as Talia did, get into the back.
Mooney, a premiership player for North Melbourne, 1999. And for the Cats, 45 metres out. Doesn't look bad off the boot. It is another behind, not a goal. 14 points to lead to Geelong. 5 minutes gone in the third term. Geelong 8-9-57 to Adelaide 6-6-42.
When you say that, Rog, back in 1999, Collingwood finished on the bottom. In 1999, how things have changed and how the wonderful world of football provides us with so much to look forward to right throughout every season. This one no exception. Massive win today by Richmond. Sydney in the 8 under sufferance, and the West Coast marching towards fourth spot by easily beating Melbourne. Throw in. Knights takes it on the left boot for the Crows, hooks it around towards centre wing, almost a grab by Taylor, who tries to break a tackle. He's got it now, he's still got it. Now Ling just flicks it out and it bounces towards the boundary. Christensen's there, wait for the boos. Come on boos. That's better. They had to boo there, didn't they? Crows fans.
Our broadcast going live around the ground.
It is going everywhere. It's a very good call from you, Jamo. Normally as sharp as a bowling ball. That was good. Here comes Sloan. Sloan's hooked from half back in towards half forward. From behind, Gunston knocks it on. Taylor Walker's there, but he can't get it quick enough. Now the ball goes towards Lonigan. Free kick. Goes Geelong's way. And over here again, it will be Lonigan with the hand pass. That was okay. Set up Menzel. Menzel goes across the goal face. He's defending. Hunt straight down the ground for Ling. Ling marks for Geelong. Scurries back quickly. Short pass from Chapman, no. Ling elects to go quietly to Varco, who comes inside, then stops. Varco. Christensen now on the end of another short pass. Christensen, 3 kicks out. Decides to lay the boot into a long one. Podsley-Adley! Oh boy! What a grab from the Podman! He came from about 2 or 3 back, climbed up high, and he dragged down a big mark, only 30 out from goal. And after 2 misses this term, surely Podsley-Adley can pop it through for a goal.
He's probably taken Mooney's place as the key forward now, hasn't he? We saw Mooney attack one just before and missed the goal. His hands were really hard. The ball hit and bounced away, but Podsley-Adley has a terrific pair of hands, doesn't grab the ball much at all, and really made the most of his opportunities since entering the competition as a mature recruit.
Podsley-Adley has kicked a couple. 93 goals in his career. He drags it away, hits the post. So James Podsley-Adley 2 goals. They've got 44 for the year and 93 in his career. And the Cats wasteful, 8-10-58, the Crows 6-6-42.
Rizzed up by John Cock towards Riley. He goes long outside 50, searching over there for Otten. Ball onto the ground. It's taken, picked up by Dangerfield. Back in board from Dowdy towards the linking Armstrong. Stops, lobs the ball to Sloan inside this centre square, jumps in the air, bobbing and weaving, not sure what to do, needs a bit of movement, got support. Jacobs goes across towards Riley. He's come down from defence, slides the ball up to the outside of the boot to Walker. That was very clever from Riley, just got the outside of the boot, bided his time, and Walker 70 metres out, heads for home. It's a long ball burster towards the goal square. Back goes Enright, fists the ball over the line. Happy to concede it behind. It's 15 points in favour of Geelong over Adelaide. 8 minutes gone in the third term. It is Geelong 8:10:58 to Adelaide 6:7:43.
Enright, short pass, the Cats trying to set something up. Hunt gives the ball a decent hook towards the half-back line. Game number 200, Bartel couldn't grab it. Off hands, McKernan kicked it a metre. Now it's Walker. Walker's hand pass is holding a man. The call will be a free kick to Geelong to go to Wojcinski. And the Crows wasteful then because they had 3-on-1, but Tardy off the ball, and Wojcinski, who kicked a goal earlier in the second term, has a kick from half-back round towards half-forward. John Cock wastes down and off he goes. Gets support there from Dowdy. John Cock feigns with a hand pass, then short passes to the umpire. Taylor Walker's got it. Hand pass back to Armstrong. Armstrong had it, lost it. Goes back in after it again. Crowd hostile because they thought he was held. Umpire watches and decides he will bounce it. They mightn't do a lot of things in Adelaide, but they certainly boo. They do a lot. Geelong 8:10:58. Adelaide 6:7:43. 9 minutes gone, third term.
Vardy knocks the ball down, rowed by Sloan, who's having a very good game inside 50, and off the chest of Corey, needs support. Hand pass to Lonergan, good little hand pass to Enright. 1-2, bang. Those hand passes. Now will Hunt go long? He goes to Varco. Defensive end of the square, bobs and weaving, linking with Enright, who kept going, takes a heavy knock. Podsiadly is on the wing, under pressure, ball in ball. That's when they're good under pressure. Ling just tumbles the ball forward, get it up towards Steve Johnson, bounces too high for him, taken by the opponent in Riley. Well done. He was prominent a moment ago, and he's creating towards the centre square. Lovely ball taken by Wright. Here comes Sloan, he's everywhere.
Sloan, now that was good precision. Sloan goes to Dangerfield, who's off. He loves to run. The Mobs Creek man says, away I go. There's one. He still goes running. He kicks to Walker. Couldn't take the mark. It clears the pack. It bounces now. Rushing out as Henderson can't quite grab it. Walker in for the hard ball. Henderson picked it up on the boundary line. Hooks it back towards centre half forward. Kelly's in the way. And he takes the mark for Geelong, and he turns with Geelong leading 8:10:58 to 6:7:43. His kick finds Varco, who played on. He's made a mess of that. In goes Marich. Off hands, in comes Petrenko. Petrenko gets through. Goes for short pass. It didn't travel too far. Here comes Dangerfield. He hand pass back to Marich. And Marich kicks the goal. And Marich kicks the goal. Oh boy. How many times was that passage of play well and truly stuffed up? But Marich has decided to grab it and kick it, and he did. And the Crows are 7:49. Geelong are 8:10:58. Marich has 2. We've gone 10.5 minutes of this term. Stephen Williams.
Just once again, Geelong trying to overuse the ball inside their defensive 50, looking for the handball that wasn't on. And full credit to Adelaide, they put enough pressure on them to cause the turnover again, and that's twice this quarter, Jamo, turnover goals to the Crows.
We were talking about how would it be if you were David Wojcinski and just say, I could take anybody on the competition because you're going to blow them away. Patrick Dangerfield's grabbed the footy, then said where I'm going to put it, and then took him on and had a bounce.
That was fantastic. Michael Philippou on the boundary.
Yes, the substitute's been activated. Burns has gone in and Duncan's come out.
And the roving by Selwood. Geelong wanting to counter. Back goes McKernan. The bounce important. Mooney's got the ball in front of him, and he's got Podsiadly bobbing and weaving on his left boot. It won't come round. It won't even reach the goals at this stage. It's out of the full. So good pressure by Adelaide in defence. Give you the score. It's Geelong 8:10:58. Adelaide 7:49. Ball is loose on the outer side. They come from all angles. In goes Dowdy, and streaming down the ground is Knights on that left boot towards right. Given a bare hug by Hunt. He's got to let him go. Player is loose up towards Henderson. Wheels around. Marked by Enright. He's holding him surely without the ball. Henderson goes in. The tackle by Enright. Plunges onto the ground. Forward pocket. What will the umpire do? They all put their hands up holding the ball. Listen to the crowd remonstrate. Clever defence by Enright, bided his time, then pounced, and he chips the ball across towards Hunt. Hunt with the dome glistening under the lights, squares the ball to half back, and Geelong under pressure, leading by just 9 points, and we've played 12 minutes in the 12 minutes in the third term as I go for the biro.
Yeah, Stephen threw it at my head. Here comes Chapman in defence, bounces the ball well for Geelong from half back to half forward. Podsiadly tried to knock it on, no good. Otten did well with a hand pass to Knights. Knights on the left boot, kicks well. Good grab. That centre wing taken by Wright. 8:10:77. Margin 9 points. Wright just pops it over the top. And the mark at half forward is taken by Gunston. Gunston, all players are manned up. No, they're not, because Armstrong is loose and he's got the grab. Armstrong's got to go for the short pass to centre half forward. Where are you, Catman? Mark taken by Riley. Now this is Aidan Riley. who is going to turn and shoot for goal. Crows 7-7-49, Geelong 8-10-58. Geelong wasteful in this quarter. 3 very much gettable shots for goal, all resulting in behinds. And the Crows getting one through Ivan Maric and one through Matthew Wright.
Just another example, Walshy too. You can see what Adelaide now holding onto the football. Geelong are just zoning off. So they're waiting for the Geelong to go to them, but they're not. And you've got to go short, and they've been able to do it a couple of times. They need to do it better going into their forward 50. They've been wasteful.
Aidan Riley playing his 3rd game for the Adelaide Crows. Runs in close to the man on the mark. He has kicked that a fair distance offline and through for a behind. The Crows 7-8-50. Geelong 8-10-58. This is Grandstand AFL on ABC Local Radio, Digital Radio, and streaming on the web. Roger Wills.
Wazinski over the top to Menzel, a long ball, and he gives a Christmas present to McKernan, who leaps and hangs in there, takes the mark. His hands went around that yellow ball very firmly. The ball back inside 54. The Crows mark almost taken by Vardy. I think the free kick been awarded. No play on. Ball's at half forward and swooped upon by Aidan Riley. Ball back in ball and a plunging mark by Lonergan. Had to. Keeps it moving with a hand pass across towards his teammate, but terrific pressure from the Crows. Ball towards Taylor, over towards Steve Johnson. Half back, not half forward. On the mark with the windmill is Jack Gunston. Steve Johnson goes over the top towards Corey. Look out, closing. Closing is Vince. Geelong down the outer side. A long ball coming from Steve Johnson. Mark almost taken by Riley. Shoveled in front by Chapman. Goes to Soccer. Ball twirls across the ground. Here comes Stokes onto the ground, hurtling from Armstrong. Off the chest to Riley. Knocks the ball back to himself. Over towards John Cock. It is a real frenzy at the moment. And free on the outer side is Vince. Here come the Crows.
Vince a bounce. Vince a kick. Henderson! Oh, it's straight through his fingertips. Looked as if he was in a position to mark. Not so. Lonergan's hand pass good. Bartel goes to sweeping kick to Ling. Cats on the rebound are ever so good and dangerous. Ling's kick down the line towards centre wing. That's a good kick. Well marked there by Nathan Vardy. Climbs to his feet. 8-10-58 Geelong. Crows 7-8-50, 15 and a half gone. He's dangerous across the ground, but the mark is taken for the catch. Short pass on from that man there in Enright, and it's marked by Brad Ottens, and he would be right on 50. Crowd quiet now. Geelong 3 chances in this quarter to break clear. They haven't been able to kick straight now. Ottens obviously now. What's Podsy Adley doing close handy?
They need to get Taylor Walker's realise that.
Sidle pass. Ottens, I'd give him about a 3 out of 10 chance to goal from here.
8 out of 10.
Ottens comes in. Drop punt kick on its way. Starts to curl. It might have made it. Gemmo, your 8 out of 10 looks pretty good. The goal umpire's going to wait. They call a meeting, and the signal is goal, goal. Brad Ottens poked it high in the sky, and it's just cleared the pack, and Geelong get one they needed. 9-10-64. The Crows 7-8-50, 16 gone, 3rd term Grandstand AFL, ABC Local Radio, Digital Radio, and streaming on the web. Stephen Williams.
All started from a turnover. Bernie Vince just missing Ricky Henderson. Henderson probably should have marked the ball, but Geelong were able to rebound the ball down the ground. And hasn't Brad Ottens been a wonderful kick over his career when he was at Richmond, playing predominantly as a forward, very reliable, and from outside of 50 then, older player to be able to kick that ball was outstanding.
Remember we had that conversation some time ago about the number of players that have played over 200 games that have kicked at least a goal per game. Ottens playing his 240th game has kicked 259 goals. What an achievement.
Great stat there, Walsh. Some of the disposals, the stats this third quarter disposals, 60-53 in favour of Geelong. Contested possession though, Adelaide edging 20-16. The clearances have tightened up as well, but Adelaide still ahead 4-3, and Rory Sloane having a massive game, 24 disposals so far.
Roving by Dangerfield. Ottens was in ruck. The ball cleared by the Crows. Ling wants to liberate. And the ball's over near the interchange to Michael Philippou as the interchange. Selwood off and Christensen back on. And it's with the boundary umpire. Leaps in the air. The yellow ball goes in the air. The ruckmen go to it. Ottens doing the rucking and roving over towards his team. Mate, knocking the ball forward there is Shannon Burns. He was the sub, as mentioned by Michael. Ball onto the ground. Bartel goes onto the ground, but a tunnel ball. Burns goes in, trying to pitch the ball, tunnel ball style. They sit on one another. They'll allow the Wallabies in the Springboks, and the ball flicked back to the umpire. So the bounce of the ball will be on the interchange on the member side. 18 minutes gone, 14 points to Crows, and the ball over the line near the interchange. And Barry Downs there, who's been the team manager for Adelaide since 1991, since started, one of the great men of football.
Day one. Good win by the Wallabies too, Roger. You'd be happy.
Don't tell Roger. He doesn't know the score. He's watching the replay tonight.
Oh, no. Have I done that, have I?
Throw in. Johnson got a hand pass His daughters have bulk erased the tape. There's Wojcinski,
You might
who's
as well do
kicking
that
towards
now.
the half-forward line. Here, for the Crows. In trouble there is Bernie Vince. He knocks it forward. He keeps on running. Here it comes to Knights. Knights got rid of it back to Bernie Vince. Bernie, this kick's got to be spot on. It is very cleverly done to McKernan. John Cox out wide. Oh, this kick's danger. Over the back, Christensen. Now in there, Van Berlo's got it. Flicks the hand pass forward. Now the hand pass delivered to Otten, who kept on running. Otten's kicked wide towards the half-forward line. And there's a very good mark indeed, taken by Taylor Walker, who's 2 kicks out. He's kicked into where? Into a gap. And there's almost a grab further afield for the Crows. Picked up by Henderson. Henderson kicks it goalwards. It curls around. I think it might have hit the post, or did it? We'll wait and see. It has. Jammed into the post. Curving around and wouldn't quite miss the big white stick. 7-9-51. Adelaide, Geelong 9-10-64, 19 gone in the term.
The intensity lifting up here. It's been a terrific game of football. Grandstand AFL on ABC Local Radio, digital radio and streaming on the web as Geelong head towards the outer side looking for Adelaide. He gets around the ground, doesn't he? Battling away there with the opponent in Talia. Ball on the ground. It's swept by Jacobs. Hand pass to lose Van Berlo. Here comes Burns. Strong tackle put on the windmill. Spills to Chapman. Bump goes Dowdy. Ball on the ground. It's hard at it from players on both sides. Emerging the ball. Coming forward by the Crows. Over towards Sloane. Shovels the hand pass. Legal towards Vince. Vince bobbing and weaving. Has a look on the left boot. Tries to pick out right. They right. Magnificent mark. It's the name of the Geelong player, surely. Is that Wojcinski there who tried to get in the way? But it was Matthew Wright who really, that was a superb mark.
Oh, it's a great mark, wasn't it? And beautifully way to kick too by Bernie Vince. He's a class player on his non-preferred left. Just sat it up there. And Wright had some work to do, but we don't see him take a lot of contested mark. But that was a beauty.
And this to bring 7 points to Crows. Easy. Just chips it over. He's got 2. 20 minutes gone, third term. Look at the crowd explode. The yellow, red and navy. They're getting excited. Why not on a Sunday night? 7 points is just a lead to Geelong. 9-10-64 to Adelaide. 8-9-57. Rod Jamieson.
Inside 50s, 38-34. Wasteful Adelaide, but thought when Bernie went right then came back, it just made it difficult for Matthew Wright to do it. But just judged the football that much better. And Roger, have I seriously done that too? Have you taped that game?
No, I always listen to ABC News, 7 o'clock. Can't resist.
Crowd making plenty of noise. 33,576 today. And Matthew Wright having an excellent first season in the AFL. 17 disposals, 8 kicks and 9 handballs, and 2 goals.
Best game we've seen here for quite a while. Might be the best game we've seen all year. In terms of the quality of the two sides, particularly Geelong, but the way in which Adelaide have been able to stir it up. See what happens from now. Bounce back at centre field. Out of the middle, Dangerfield took it well because Vardy got the tap. They need a half forward. Here comes Wright again. Broke the tackle. He goes in for the hard ball. In goes Taylor Walker. Lays the tackle. It's flicked back to Varco. He did well. Varco cleans up by way of to Kelly. Kelly goes backwards and it's marked by Stevie Johnson. On the left boot. How's that for a kick to Vardy, who marks about 40 metres down the ground. He goes the hand pass across his body. Here comes Enright. Enright's kicked a half forward. It's marked by Adelaide. He slides the hand pass towards Corey. In towards centre half forward. It bounces. In trouble there. A good clearance. No. Cameron Link's got it. Didn't travel far enough. He went the hand pass. Picked up again by Corey. In towards Selwood, who takes the mark. And keeps on going. And kicks a goal. He hesitated for a brief moment but realised that he'd broken clear. And Joel Selwood rushed through and kicked the goal for Geelong, who are 10-10-70. The Crows 8-9-57, 21 and a half gone third term. Earlier today, a win to the West Coast over Melbourne and Richmond over Sydney. Stephen Williams.
It was always Joel Selwood, wasn't it? I'm not sure there's a more courageous player in the competition than just running with the flight of the ball. It was always his ball, just marked it, and then with his momentum took him through the Adelaide players and was able to finish off with a simple goal and a steadying one for the Cats.
Yeah, Joel Selwood, not one of his biggest days, but he still picks up the ball. 13 disposals and a goal now. Some of the major ball winners. Corey Enright's had 18 for the Cats. Joel Corey's 17. Adelaide up to 16 disposals and 2 goals. 2 for the Crows. Sloane 25. Knights 25. John Cock and Vince 21 disposals each.
Geelong 10-10-70. Adelaide 8-9-57. Whistle goes. Free kick will go to Adelaide. Scott Thompson held by the Black Scribes. Gives it back towards Van Berlo. Keeps it moving. Movement towards the other side. Dropping down the ground, bobbing and weaving around. That's Marich over there, and it's smothered by Thompson. Touch play on Wright. Heads for home. It's a long ball. Has it got the legs? It'll be touched right on the line. Wasn't a bad effort. A behind, not a goal. Geelong by 12 points, 10-10-70 to Adelaide, 8-10-58.
Just a little out of the distance. Not sure what Ivan Maric was trying to do then. The big ruckman, just a balk there for the stats fryer.
Well, remember he kicked that goal earlier on where we weren't sure what he was doing. But he's kicked two. It's 2 goals the difference. 24 gone into this, the third quarter. The poor kick into play, and Sloan did well to slap it away. And I'm thinking Corey Enright would have been disappointed at that kick that didn't travel any distance whatsoever.
You never handball to a running ruckman, do you, Stephen?
No, that's the first rule of football.
A lot of ruckman listening to our coverage. Boundary throw in. Maric gets rid of Ottens. It actually hit him on the scon. Now there is a whistle and there's a free kick to the Crows. That's off the ball. Hang on. Now one umpire's saying Crows and the other umpire's saying Geelong.
And that's the I guess the grey area too. You've gone Geelong, play on advantage and get tackled.
Yeah, very confusing. Anyway, Jimmy Bartell finishes up with the free kick, kicks to centre wing. Podsy Adley there. Off hands it goes to Thompson, who gives to Armstrong. Armstrong back to Van Berlo, whose kick across the body will be marked by John Cock, and he runs, and he loves it. He goes the hand pass, it's at centre wing. It'll be taken there by Dowdy. Hand pass back to John Cock. He lost it, he got it again. Trouble! Big trouble. The Cats win it away. On the march there, Stokes. One bounce, two bounces. He kicks for goal. It bounces, it rolls, and it's shepherded through for a goal. Stokes kicks the goal. And the Cats have their 11-10-76. The Crows 8-10-58, 25 gone, third term.
Just some terrific pressure there. Graham Johncock had the ball, and it was Stokes that put a lot of pressure on. It was a 2-on-1. They were able to force Burns come in to help out, force the turnover, and just terrific play by Stokes. Just summed up the situation. Saw the open goal square, and Vardy was able to shepherd the ball through.
You encourage the handball receive, but it's the right time. Picking it, isn't it? Johncock had it, should have kicked it then. Handball to Dowdy, and the pressure was applied. He would have had to use his left foot, which he's not strong at. He tried to come back inside, and Stokes were all over him.
Suddenly it's back to 18 points. Geelong 11-10-76, Adelaide 8-10-58, 25 minutes gone, third term. Big crowd, around 40,000 one would hope. The roving by Van Berlo. It's centre half forward for the Crows. Onto the ground it goes, and strong tackle on Henderson. Was it over the shoulder? My ball, says the umpire. Jacobs is there, and onto the ground. It's not 40,000, Walshy. It's what, 33,576? I'm glad I'm not in bingo.
Fritchie texted him.
Centre half forward, the ball is on the ground, taken by Aidan Riley. Back towards Brent Riley. Not related. Onto the other side. Knights towards Johncock. Trying to make amends. Moves the ball towards half forward. Searching for a mark from Maric. It spills towards Taylor. Look out. Geelong have the ball and picked up off the bootlaces by Otten. That can't be 50 metres. It was bumped when he picked the ball up. I have to say that is weird. That is weird. Otten's done well to pick the ball up at full tilt, and it's Johncock giving it away.
Not a lot in it though, but because Johncock's not in the marking contest, you're not allowed to touch the player. He came in later, half tackle on him, and paid the penalty.
Ball over the back in the forward pocket. Mooney wants to keep the ball alive. Christensen's there working hard the line. Left forward pocket, throw it in. Geelong in attack, leading by 18 points. 27 minutes gone in the third term. Was it picked up? Maybe there's grass in it.
The letter of the law says the umpire was correct. There's not too much flexibility, but certainly in the letter of the law. Here's the tap down there by Ottens. In defence, Knight's got a hand pass to John Cock, who tries to fend off the tackle from Kelly. All bounces. In defence, all Crows. Riley, long boot to ball from back pocket around towards centre wing. Hunt does the tapping away, but Sloan has been superb. Hand pass Petrenko. Petrenko is eye to eye with Taylor. He eventually hand passes to Maric, and Maric walks it over the line. And there'll be a throw in. But it already did that. Anyway, the crowd's booing. Good work, crowd. Good booing. 33-5-76 the crowd. 3 goals the difference. Geelong lead, 27 gone in the term. Michael Philippou.
Walshy, Bernie Vince has come to the interchange. He's being worked on. Those legs a little bit weary after having a strong performance thus far.
Whistle goes. My ball, says the umpire on the other side, as Chapman sitting on the opponent. Yellow ball will come out. Getting up is Petrenko. One of the real favourite players. He has the old RHG. The red hot goes. Steve Johnson is there. And he's been marked by Otten. The bounce on the wing on the outer side. Flicked away by Otten, but it's rowed by Petrenko. And it's gone towards the Maric. Fisted away by Geelong. They'll hammer the ball over the fence. Taken over there by Corey. And a hoot and hollow on the outer side. The Thermoses would be rumbling.
Very close to three-quarter time. Very, very close. A very even third term. Ottens and Jacobs. Ottens palms it down. Good work there by Petrenko. Knocked it to Knights, but he ran past the ball. Now he gets back on the ball. His hand passed to Dowdy, put him under pressure. Was Dowdy pushed in the back? No, he wasn't. Charging clear there was Selwood. In towards centre half forward. Wonderful kick, and it's marked by Mooney. Mooney's going to play it on. Mooney thumps a high ball. Very tough for McKernan to get back. He did very well indeed. And bunched the ball over the boundary line. Looked as if he was going to be outmarked, but that was a fine performance, and there'll be a throw-in. Noisy lot.
Yeah, look, Cam Mooney just tried to give it to... He was just... Sean McKernan read it well, just a little far out with his distance.
Boundary throw-in. Otten there. It's handed off him. Number 35. What a jumper that is for the Adelaide Crows. Worn spectacularly this evening by Sean McKernan, and worn ever so proudly by Rod Jamieson as one of the original Crows. 30 out. Very close to three-quarter time. Podsiadly's tap is good. It's into the forward pocket. Stevie J on the angle. Stevie Johnson kicks towards the goals that he's confronting, and there's a free kick to the Crows, and there's no advantage because Armstrong couldn't pick up the ball, so they'll take it in defence.
Ball to be taken by Talia. Shows a lot of promise. Van Berlo, the captain, leaps at 50 metres back towards Armstrong. Swerves inboard, balances, looks for a teammate. That's a beautiful kick. Taken by Wright, who's been busy in this term. He keeps it moving down the wing towards Scott Thompson. Haven't called him as much as usual tonight. And players streaming down the ground. Here comes Van Berlo. Will take the ball. Couldn't get the shot on goal. Now he does. But the umpires indicate that Hurlin's going to twirl all the way through. It went through. No goal, because the umpires indicated they'd heard the siren. So at three-quarter time, it's Geelong breathing space by 18 points. 11-10-76 to Adelaide, 8-10-58. Good game of football at Football Park.
It is. The Cats have Podsiadly with 2 goals and singles to Stevie Johnson, Mitch Duncan, Paul Chapman, Cameron Mooney, Jimmy Bartell, David Wojcinski, Brad Ottens, Joel Selwood and Matthew Stokes. For the Crows, 2 each to Ivan Maric, Taylor Walker and Matthew Wright, and singles to Ricky Henderson and Jared Petrenko. Quarter time, the scores were level. Half time, Geelong led by 19 points, and at three-quarter time, the margin is 18. Well, you've been in this position for all of the season. It seems as if we've got a reasonable gathering tonight who are making a lot of noise.
They certainly are down here, Walshy, and Adelaide. Each time Geelong kick a few goals, the Adelaide crowd is starting to lift the players back into the contest.
And the ball has been bounced in the second term. Fresh air coming from the Crow. That's dangerous. Gets up wincing, actually. He went for it and gave it full blast and then was dragged away from the ball. So it's back to the umpire. And he's been, he's tagging Selwood or vice versa. In goes Dangerfield. He's tackled by Ottens. There's that strong tackle. He's plunged onto the ground. That was a mighty tackle.
It's great to see a ruckman doing that, isn't it? That's a good thing about Brad Ottens. Not only does he compete for the ball in the air, but he's not scared to get his knees dirty and get down after the midfielders.
First goal, pretty important. Last quarter. Who's going to grab it? It's a free kick for pushing the back. It's a long kick. A bit of momentum carrying Van Berlo into the back there of Corey. Joel Corey swings the ball goalwards, in towards the forward pocket. Offhands, Podsiadly lays a high tackle. Blading allowed to go on as Armstrong got rid of it by hand towards Otten, and he kept on running, and his hand pass was untidy, and when he crashed through, he missed it. So Varco there for Geelong, he couldn't gather. Corey's there for Geelong, got it out to Ling. Ling actually handed the ball to James Kelly, whose kick bounces askew from Selwood, but it runs across towards a little Shannon Burns. And Shannon Burns has kicked the goal. Exactly what the Cats wanted, and Burns becomes the 11th individual goal scorer for Geelong. 12-10-82, the Crows 8-10-58.
As you mentioned, Walsh, it was important that first goal. If Adelaide got all of a sudden the crowd are back in the game, they're within a couple of kicks, but now Geelong move out to a 4-goal lead. It's going to be hard for Adelaide from here, but just some good players by the good play by the key midfielders. Corey getting hold of the ball, Ling in close. Just to the players that you look to when things are tight for the Cats.
That's where you had just added. It's the pawn in their side, isn't it? Really, out of those, there's only one player that's kicked 2 goals. You just cannot go to one player. They have the spread. They love applying score assists throughout this team to bring every man into the game.
Roving by Dangerfield. They need a quick counter. The Crows down by 4 goals. Ball onto the ground. Backing up is Enright, but a smother by Walker round the body. The ball comes round. That's Henderson. He claps himself. It's always an indication. Not a goal. It turned out to be a behind, so it's 23 points to lead. Geelong at 12-10-82 to Adelaide 8-11-59. 2.5 minutes gone. Final turn. Peter Walsh.
Steady as she goes, says Josh Hunt. Just pokes it into the back pocket where Harry Taylor marks. Taylor called a play on now. Might back himself into some bother. Goes across to Hunt, who marks. Hunt tries the member side of the ground, which is good for us. His kick is good, and it's marked by Christensen, who's been a fine player this year. Christensen's kick not all that good. McKernan knocks it away from Varco. Varco recovers well. He tried to kick it off the ground. Picked up by Armstrong in defence. He's out, but the ball's not. Now it's taken over, and there'll be a throw in. Players leg weary after a stirring contest this afternoon. One of the better games, as I've suggested, at Football Park. We've had some bad ones. Throw in. Jacobs gets front position. It's toe poked out of the pack. Taken by Podsy Adley, who took an eternity. Flicked towards Knights. Knights got rid of it quickly to McKernan. McKernan's kick back into the centre of the ground. Petrenko can't mark. Sloane's hand pass. Missed the target. Missed the target. Kelly's got it for Geelong. Kelly's kick long in towards centre half forward. Bounces away. And it's gone over for a throw-in. 4 minutes gone, final term. Geelong with the first goal of the quarter, kicked by the 11th goal scorer, Shannon Burns. 12-10-82. The Crows 8-11-59.
Vardy steams down the ground. He won't get to the boundary throw-in. The ball's knocked on. McKernan is there. Podsy Adley goes to soccer. It's 10 rows back onto the full, so relief will be taken by Adelaide. And it's 23 points to lead. What about that kick from Kelly there? Right off the outside of the boot. It swerved back like an in-swinger, didn't it? It was very clever.
A big banana.
James Podsy Adley has a terrific work rate. He's had 18 possessions and the top cat has had 20. So for a tall marking forward, he has been had a terrific work rate.
Yep. Bit of trivia for you in a minute too, Stephen, as we saw Sloane take the mark and kick it across the goal face he's defending, then run on and take the ball again, and then bang it to Wattens, who took the grab. And it wasn't paid as a mark, it was paid for a knock on the shoulder, as the ball is now hand passed towards Thompson. Thompson on the left boot towards half forward, marked by Van Berlo, who's on the sweep. Taylor Walker's the target, he's got him! Mark taken 55 out from goal. He's going to go whammo from a long way out. It's going to go a long way! Taylor Walker, he's kicked that halfway to Broken Hill. What a roost. The Crows 9-11-65, Geelong 12-10-82. 5 minutes gone in the final term.
He had Jack Gunston too back in the square. I think that's initially where the kick was intended to go, but just been able to come. I think Scott Thompson is very similar to Sam Mitchell. I think I just thought he got caught on his left side. I thought he's not going to hit the body here, but it was a reasonable floater. And Nathan Van Berlo was able to judge it well to maintain possession. And just the beauty of Taylor Walker is just the length of the kick. He can kick the ball from 60, 65 metres. I'm not sure he actually really got onto that one, and it travelled from probably a metre in outside the square, so a monster kick. Adelaide 12-10-82. Geelong 12-10-82. Adelaide 9-11-65. Who'll get the ball in the centre? A goal apiece. 5 minutes gone. Is that in the back? Coming from the Geelong players sitting on top. Johnson looks up quizzically at the umpire. What about holding the ball, sir? Van Berlo gives the ball back. 17 points the lead. Terrific game of football at Football Park to finish round 21. Burns has pinned it and onto the ground. In fact, it was Bartel. Bit of tunnel ball. In he goes again. Hands and knees stuff. Umpire circling. My ball. 6 minutes gone. Geelong by 17. Cats have a bye next week, and Adelaide go and warm up on the Gold Coast. 16.5 minutes plus time on to go in this final quarter. Sloane out of the middle as a free kick for a holding. It's gone to Geelong. I think every time Geelong come interstate, Roger, it increases by 10 degrees. It must feel they go to the northern part of Australia almost every second week. Joel Corey just lengthens their hamstrings.
Yeah, Corey in the middle of Football Park. 17 points the margin. Geelong lead. Corey's kick to the half-forward line. John Cox from behind tried to tap the ball away. Well done, Sloane. He got it to Wattens. Wattens appeared to be hung on to. Selwood's in there. He dumped John Cox. Gave it across towards Ling. Ling round his body in towards half-forward. Knocked away. Bartel's there. Free kick. McKernan being hung on to. He'll get a kick at half-back. There's a few umpires here tonight, isn't there? They're all in the outer. John Cox short pass to Sloan, who gets in, takes the mark and gives the hand pass to John Cox, who kept on running. Geelong by 17 points. Kick towards the half-forward line. Marriage there. Punch towards the boundary line and kick over on the full. An untidy piece of work there by Bernie Vince. And there'll be a Geelong free kick. They're 12-10-82. Crows 9-11-65. 7.5 minutes gone final term.
Vince ruffles his crew cut. Ball towards the wing and a specky taken by Vardy. Hanging there now. Geelong have got a player free towards the... So that's Stokes. He's on his Pat Malone. Slides the ball towards Wazinski. 40 metres out. And doesn't cap it with a goal. It's a poster. Standing ovation from the crowd. No goal behind. It's Adelaide trailing by 18 points. Geelong 12-11-83 to Adelaide 9-11-65.
Don't blink because the ball's back at centre wing. Sloan will tap it on. He does brilliantly. He gets some support. This is good play. Hand pass comes back to Sloan. Sloan is a kick and a half out. Drives the ball down the ground. Dangerfield's the target. Couldn't get it. Off hands over the head of Gunston. They all dive for it. Dangerfield put his body in. Varco got a hand pass. And the kick is taken just inside by Taylor. Oh, lovely kick there by Corey Enright. And Taylor's got the mark.
What's your verdict, Rod?
No, it was all right. It was all right. Here comes Enright. The ball kicked back to him. Enright goes across the goal face. He's defending. It's okay. And the Cats are going to read now. What's Dangerfield all right? Yep.
He's a real hard attacker. Just went in. Players these days, they need to go in actually with their shoulder rather than their head. He led with his head and hit the legs of a Geelong player and caused a bit of damage.
Johnson, kick back to the centre of the ground. Marriage does some good work. Here's John Cock who does some better work. Wrapped up now in a tackle from Ottens. Here comes Varco, hand pass Ling. Ling has to get the runner out of the way and kicks long down towards centre half forward. Vardy's there, off hands. It'll be a defence from Talia, whose hand pass was untidy. Talia untidy, now he got it again. Flicks the hand pass out towards Thompson. Over the back it goes to Ottens. Ottens, the toe poke up in the air. And it's marked out there by Talia, who was in all of those plays. And Talia, half-back flank. Geelong 12-11-83. Adelaide 9-11-65. 10 minutes gone in the term.
Goal apiece in the final term. Ball moved across to Riley. That's Brent Riley towards Armstrong. Armstrong space. Places the ball. And it's taken there by Doughty. Ever present. Hand pass on the interchange across towards Vince. Can move the ball. Looking for Walker. That'll be hard over the back and helping out his Hunt because Lonergan was marking the other 13 in Walker. The 12 of the ball. He's a lovely kick of the ball, isn't he, Kelly? There's always support taken by Johnson. Which way will you go this time? Hand pass towards Corey. Corey heads for home. A long ball looking for Christensen. Vardy's there. 2-on-2. Who's at the drop of the ball? Otten for the Crows. Trying to pick the ball up as the pack picks himself up the turf and the ball heads towards the outer side, taken by Walsh's favourite player, Ivan Maric.
Maric with the Crows down by 3. Kick marked by Gunston. Geelong lead by 18 points. Gunston to half forward. In the front of the pack there, almost dragging the mark down was Van Berlo. Now for Geelong, Menzel falls over. Diving forward, Thompson. It comes out of the pack to Riley. Riley flicks the ball towards Dangerfield, who kicks a long goal. Patrick Dangerfield. The Crows 10-11-71. Geelong 12-11-83. 11 minutes gone, final term.
This is another wonderful bit of pressure, wasn't it? Adelaide, Geelong had the ball, looked like they've got to clear it, but it's one of the few times we've actually seen Adelaide force the Cats into error, and Patrick Dangerfield, like Taylor Walker, can really kick the ball a long way, and Crows give themselves a chance. Now the crowd's back into the game, only 2 goals of difference. We're in for a grandstand finish, Walshy.
Well done, Daniel Talia. At centre-half back, he was the one that had to take the contest too, and all 4 players went. Adelaide were able to get up. Ottens ran it out. For me, Adelaide are using the obvious player with their kick. They're not trying to manufacture it, they're just hitting the leader.
And out of the centre, it was Thompson, but in the way as Bartel placed himself at centre-half back. The ball came in low. 12 points in favour of John. Steve Johnson was half-back, not quite sure what to do. He chips the ball towards Chapman. So Chapman goes back towards half-back. Ball taken by Bartel. They're not playing out of time. Josh Hunt bobbing and weaving. Good effort by Walker to get in the way. Lonergan takes the ball. Hunt at centre-half back has a long ball. It's got to be pinpoint. Mark taken by Pottian. It's in his hand. Fantastic feature for mine. He's so strong. And he's near the centre circle. Not quite sure what to do. There's someone on the outer side. Then he goes long. It's high. It won't bring rain. Will it bring a mark for Mooney? Over the back, ball onto the ground, cleared away by the Crows, but smother. In goes Armstrong. Was it over the shoulder? Umpires circling. There'll be a boo here. Ball to be bounced. Good pouncing by Kelly on young Armstrong, who gets up, and his hair's a bit of a flurry.
I'd back you in, Roger, if you had the ball delivered to you like that every day.
Bounce. Marriage, no. Otten takes it for the Crows. Floats a high ball back to where Hunt almost took the mark for Geelong. Here comes Chapman, his lookalike. Got it to Selwood, who ran into a tackle. Hand pass backwards but effective to Lonergan. Geelong by 2 goals. Lonergan hammers a long ball down towards half forward, offhands Dangerfield. Hand pass to the meter, that wasn't too good. Kelly's got it for Geelong. Flicks the ball out, here comes Ling. Ling got a hand pass to Selwood at centre half forward. Selwood hooks the ball goalwards. John Cock is in the square. Gets up, knocks the ball away. Racing for the ball now is Christensen. He leads in the race for it. John Cox going with him. Christensen, he's out but the ball's in. Hand pass into the square. Johnson tackled. Johnson still holds the ball. He's lying down. He's horizontal to the perpendicular. And he's going to get a free kick. His kick was a behind. The umpire has paid something. I was watching the flight of the ball. And Stevie Johnson has got the replay. Talk to us, Stephen. Hang on.
Great play by Christensen too, wasn't it? Yes, McKernan stuck the foot out, so may even get reported for that. Just tripped him up.
What about that? Stevie Johnson's marked out his run-up.
Now there's some clown on the ground being taken off the ground by a security guard, thank goodness. And Stevie, with 5 on the mark, is going to run around, shoot for goal and kick a goal. Stevie Johnson kicks his second. Spirited stuff from both teams. Geelong get the mini break. They go now to 13 goals, 11.89. 3 goals in front of the Crows, who were 10-11-71. And this is football at its finest here at Football Park. Stevie Johnson rises to the occasion, gives Geelong a nice little buffer.
Oh, look, Sean McKernan did. He stuck his right leg out, and there was the trip too. But magical too, if he was able to just slide on the ground and kick it over his head. Keep an eye on him too. I think in that last contest with Graham Johncock, he did cop a knee or a contact in the hip, and he was just sitting back holding it.
Some big numbers for the Crows tonight. 7 players with over 20 disposals. Sloane 32, Knights 31, Thompson 27. They're 3 leaders for the Cats. Joel Corey 22, Kelly and Enright with 20.
Cats back to a lead of 3/4 time of 18 points. Ball onto the ground. Players try to keep the ball alive. They just go in. Look at the courage, and onto the ground goes Otten. It spills towards Chapman. The rugged Chapman places the ball towards the outer side, searching for Burns with that pace. And the other, Brodie Smith, the sub, is on the mark. Inside 50 quickly. It's 3-on-3. They fly. Podsiadly again. He's quite spectacular, Stephen, the way he hangs in the air with his strong hands.
He's probably been Geelong's best player, just his work rate coming up the field. The forward line really looks a bit barren when he's actually caught up the ground and kicking the ball inside of 50, but when he's in there, he's got a wonderful pair of hands. He's kicked two this afternoon and been the real kingpin in the Geelong forward line.
Well, that's his 10th mark, Stephen, coming up for disposal, number 20.
Virtually no breeze, northern end of the ground, sheltered by the big screen and the big grandstand. Podsiadly, 45 metres out, places it away to the right, he's missed. So it's 19 points the lead to Geelong at the 16-minute mark of the final term. 13-12-90, Adelaide 10-11-71. Michael Philippou.
Yeah, well read about Stevie Johnson, Rod Jamieson. He copped a knee in the left hip, so he's come to the interchange and he's under a bit of duress, but you also can see that Vardy's come to the interchange with a very similar complaint, and now in fact he's following down one of the medical staff into the dugout to be assessed.
10 minutes of play remaining as Lonergan takes a grand mark on the outer wing. 13-12-90 Geelong, the Crows 10-11-71. Vardy in towards half forward, and it's Lonergan, I should say, in towards half forward. Varco was the one who tried to climb for the mark, but it's over the boundary line for a throw in. Gut-busting effort by both teams. Superb night for football. Almost 34,000 people. Ottens did well. It finishes up with Chapman. Chapman kicks the ball in towards full forward. Good knock away there from Podsiadly by McKernan. Podsiadly had it again. Got a hand pass. Mooney tried to crash the pack. Was caught. Play on's the call. It's 20 out from goal, and there will be a ball up. He attempted to run through the brick wall, but didn't.
Just good defence by Adelaide there, just not letting the ball out. Good tackling, disciplined tackling, not giving the free kick away.
This goal to put it beyond doubt 20 out Geelong's goal. Bounce. Ottens does the wrestling. Christensen ran past, picked up by Ottens for the Crows, but he's kicked straight back to Menzel. And Menzel turns and thumps it a long way, but straight over the boundary line. And there'll be a free kick in defence to be taken by Graham Johncock. Geelong, 13-12-90. The Crows, 10-11-71. You'd reckon they need another. There's still life. There's still yet another script to be written in this epic here at Football Park.
Vince Knights to right on the outer side. Over the top it goes. It's taken by Josh Hunt. Play on onto that left boot. Puts it back towards half forward, looking for Christensen, but cleverly marked. The player by Andy Otten. Yes, he's a very smooth mover, Rod, isn't he? He gives the ball back towards McKernan. He came in for Rutten, and the ball back towards Otten. He was out last year with that bad leg injury. So 18 minutes gone. The lead is 19, and Geelong playing defence at the moment. The ball heads out towards Tarley. It eludes him over the top towards Lonergan. He knows that he's got his teammate Birds with him. Tarley does well, tackles the opponent, goes after the ball. That was an outstanding effort. The ball emerging towards Knights on that left boot over towards Sloane. Adelaide, a great opportunity here. Marker's been taken on the other side by Gunston. Players calling for the ball. The player is on his lonesome on the other side. It's Henderson. A long way to go. Geelong will group here. They'll hammer the back. No, the mark has been taken. And that's Petrenko. So in the end, it could work out well in the jigsaw puzzle because he's kicking directly out from goal.
There's been a lot of talk about Daniel Talia in the years leading up to this too. He's suffered some injuries and they've had high hopes that he'll come in and be a key defender, and only in a limited amount of games he has really stood up, and from a defensive point of view, his tackling, his spalling has been very good.
Petrenko deserves a goal in his 33rd game. Promising season. 45 metres out directly from goal. The crowd tells the story. The Crows are still squawking. Down by 13 points. 19 minutes gone, final term. Geelong 13-12-90 to Adelaide 11-11-77.
I thought the Cats were a little bit slack there. There's no question that Jack Gunston had the ball for quite some time, deciding whether he would shoot for goal or pass the ball inside, and we've seen the Cats really work hard to get back and cover, but they just didn't work hard enough, and were Adelaide players loose in the middle of the ground, and Petrenko took the mark, finished off, and Adelaide still fighting, which is good to see.
Sure is, folks. Hope you're enjoying our coverage. Grandstand AFL, ABC Local Radio, Digital Radio, and streaming on the web. Geelong lost 2 in a row a while ago. That seems like another decade ago. 13 points the margin. We've got 7 minutes of playing time left. Out of the middle, Marich had it. Tried his felt on his boot. Good work, Ling, who did the right things. Kicks to half forward. Sprinting up to take the mark in defence is Riley for the Crows. Gives to Armstrong, who decided to play on. Now his wobbler is a tough call towards centre wing. Climbing high was Brodie Smith, who is the substitute. I think the best option would be that it did run over the line. He couldn't take the mark, so there'll be a throw in. Super game, super competition. Geelong in second spot, 13-12-90. The Crows has-beens this year, but they're fighting hard tonight. From the throw in, Marich goes in, tries to do the cleaning up. The umpire could pluck one here. He could pluck one. No. Never too sure when they circle and they look. Like when you're fishing and you wait for that little floater to disappear and you know he's got you.
Should be nice to pull up a big 25-pound snapper or something.
This is the bounce. Hello to all of our fishermen friends. A lot of those around the country, we know that. The 211s are there. They all work. They both work for it. Corey and Dowdy. Hand pass was all right. The hand pass was knocked off Brodie Smith. Here's Sloane. It's flicked out of the pack towards Marich. Kicked towards the half-forward line. It bounces. Knocked across. Oh, brilliantly done there by Petrenko to Henderson. Henderson got around Kelly. He's kicked deep in towards centre half-forward. It's punched off hands and it's socket through. It's not really an own goal. The Geelong defender there was Lonergan, and it threw for a behind to the Crows, who are now 11-12-78. And Geelong at 13-12-90, 2 goals the difference at the 21.5-minute mark.
I think Ricky Henderson might have done a hamstring here to his right one. He's just gone for it straight away and he is limping. He's in the contest here though.
And he'll take the mark all right. Stretching the hamstring, he goes back. Not long to go, 22 minutes gone in the final term.
6 minutes plus time on left.
I don't like to look at the clock.
I do.
I'll give you the old score. As Henderson goes long up towards the goals. No hamstring. Not a problem. It's a goal. It's just 6 points. Henderson's got 2. Look at the Crows supporters. Even the members are cheering. What's going on? Geelong at 13-12-90. Adelaide 12-12-84. Could this be the upset of the season?
Well, just a poor kick, wasn't it, Corey Enright? Probably not the preferred kicking out player. Hunt normally does the work, but Enright kicked the ball straight to Henderson, and as we thought, he's off, limping a bit now, but he didn't have much trouble there, Jamo, from outside of 50.
5.5 minutes left plus time on.
I've got to shave my medical certificate shortly.
Dr. Rod Jamieson no longer has a consultancy in Adelaide. If you think there's noise here, you're right. Don't adjust your radios. A goal the difference. Crows down by a goal, Geelong up by a goal. Sloan attempts to bust the pack. Ling put his head down, was tackled. It has to be surely a secondary bounce. Umpires watching as bodies are flung left, right and centre, and there now will be that bounce. 5.5 minutes plus time on to go. 13-12 Geelong, 12-12 Adelaide. A goal the difference on grandstand, the best seat in the house. Otten's got the tap towards Selwood. Flicked out of the pack. Here's Van Berlo, the skipper. He turns and he hooks the ball in towards centre half forward. It is superbly picked up by Gunston. Hand pass towards Wright. Wright's kick to Johncock. He's at half forward. Little Johnny. Goes the call. He hooks the ball in towards full forward. Didn't get much purchase on it. And running back to take the mark is Jimmy Bartell. Geelong 13-12-90. The Crows 12-12-84. 5 minutes plus time on to go.
And Bartell outside 50 in defence for Geelong. The flyer, that's in the back and had to be. Going early with Selwood, taken by Sloan, keeps it moving inboard, the Crows lining up, and the ball has been taken by Wright. Thompson's with him. A goal would level the match. 24 minutes gone in the final term at Football Park. A long ball, he switches action towards the forward zone. Geelong seem to have the numbers. Lonergan is at a mark, which way will it go? It went to Lonergan, the man in front. Lonergan did enough. Jacobs came late and flicked the ball. He gives the ball back towards Bartell, moves the ball towards Enright. Smith gets on the mark. Geelong under pressure. They'd love a point, Stephen. They'd love a point, wouldn't they?
Adelaide look the likely type, don't they? They're putting a lot of pressure on. They're controlling the ball. It's just a matter of a good decision going inside of 50.
Enright's kick. Goal spoil from behind there over the line from Van Berlo. Goal the difference.
There's people walking out.
I'm serious. I have no idea why. What is wrong with you people? What is wrong?
Bus 22's leaving now.
Fill out a form when you leave the ground. What's wrong with me? Sloan picks it up. He's kicking towards half forward. The ball had plenty of it, but Knights fell over. And someone who didn't fell over was Kelly for the Cats.
The bus driver, you listen to the radio anyway. You're not going anywhere.
James Kelly's kick. Podsy Adley's there. Can't take the grab. Selwood's there. Missed it. In goes Dangerfield for the Crows. A goal the difference. There's a scramble. Dangerfield thrown out of the pack. Podsy Adley. Oh, good hands. Good hands. He got it to Burns. Burns for the Cats towards the half-forward line. Knocked away. Stevie J's the call. Stevie Johnson. He's hip and shouldered out of the contest. In there is Talia for the Crows. His hand pass was good. Pack forward there towards centre half-forward. And in the way is Taylor, who takes a fine mark for Geelong. 25.5 minutes gone. 4 minutes plus time on. And Geelong lead by a goal.
Almost a mark to Vardy. The crumbs towards Stokes. Chips the ball. Mark taken by Mooney. Thought about a hand pass. He goes over the top. It hasn't got the legs. Goal. And Burns puts it up at the top of the new stand. That will be the sealer. And the Geelong supporters can just breathe a sigh of relief. Burns the sub. 2 goals. Suddenly it's 12 points at the 26-minute mark of the final term. What a game it's been. Geelong 14-12-96. Adelaide 12-12-84.
I think, Jeff, both teams are just out on their feet, aren't they, Stephen? You just saw Geelong, just their desire to want to run forward and get hold of it. No Adelaide player was there. There were 3 players that they could have gone to.
They put Adley again up on the wing, just that great take in amongst players and then a quick give which was able to get Geelong out into the open. And Vardy has really completed well. Him and Talia have had a good contest, but Talia probably controlled the position, but just a good contest then by Vardy to bring the ball to ground, and Geelong had the numbers at the fall of the wall.
Sometimes we see games that aren't excellent advertisements for the AFL. This one is an excellent advertisement. Dangerfield got a free kick out of the middle.
Geelong have dropped someone behind the play, Walshy.
The Cats by 2 goals. The ball is now hand pass to running through the middle. Riley flicked it over the top to Dangerfield, but holding the ball's the call.
Great tackle by Joel Corey. And Adelaide did the right thing. They played on. They tried to move the ball quickly. Riley took on Corey, but Corey was too strong. And that's the difference. The Cats have got big bodies. You don't often break their tackles.
Joel Corey wide towards centre wing. It's marked down there by Chapman, whose head glistens off the big lights here at Football Park. 2 goals of difference, 27 gone. Chapman's going to go back. Kick it a long way, and Taylor will take the mark. No good booing the crowd. The Crows must man up now as Taylor goes for the kick that's over the head of Josh Hunt. Is he going to be quick enough? He is. He got the ball and he kicked it out of bounds deliberately. What do you reckon, Mr. Umpire? What are we going to see here? Roll in, please.
I don't think he wanted that footy at all. I think they Harry had to kick it out to Jimmy Bartell, and he's yelling out to him now.
Well, they weren't all wild about Harry, I'll give you the tip. Geelong 14-12-96, the Crows 12-12-84, 27 and a half gone final term. Roger Wills.
Boundary throw in, half forward for Geelong. Off Jacobs' body, spilled to the other big man, and Vardy. He's knocked onto the turf by Dowdy. Good tackle. Tying up the ball, tying up the seconds. Geelong by 12 points. 28 minutes gone final term. 14-12-96 Adelaide. 12-12-84 on the vociferous Crow supporters urging the team to get the ball down the other end of the ground.
Roger Wills throwing out those superb words towards the end of this game as there's a shepherding infringement. It's going to go against the big man, and that is Sam Jacobs.
I'm not sure why you can't shepherd out a little bloke like
Selwood. Selwood's got the free kick. Margin is 2 goals, and Selwood's going to go backwards. Kick to Bartell, playing his 200. Bartell, he's going to go backwards too, because there are 3 or 4 Geelong players behind the ball, and he just goes back down to where Tommy Lonergan stands. Lonergan says, OK, Jimmy Bartell, here's another stat. Geelong lead by 2 goals. They'll win the game. We've gone 28 and a half minutes. Bartell kicks down the line. Armstrong's going to make a good effort to try and knock the ball away. He does. Talia comes through, gives to Armstrong. Armstrong's got speed. He's hand passed to Taylor Walker. He's hand passed to Dangerfield. Dangerfield kicks it a long way. Graham Johncock, you'll get this. Johncock marks 40 out from goal.
And you can see why Geelong wanted to actually hold up the football. One kick down the line, turnover, and here you are, the opposition having a shot on goal.
Johncock comes in at 45. Drop punt kick on its way is a poster. A poster from Johncock. And you could say he was stiff. Geelong 14-12-96. Adelaide Crows 12-13-85. 11 the difference. 29 gone final term.
It's got to go back. Lonergan ran through the square while Jimmy Bartell was kicking out.
So Bartell picking up possessions in the last bit. And Geelong and the ball through Lonergan. Another Glenelg player like Brad Ottens. And now he goes outside 50, searching for Mark. There is Ottens on cue. Ball fisted down by, taken by Burns. That was good roving. Going forward, Geelong have got the numbers. Bumper getting in the way. Well done by McKernan, because lurking with Stokes at the drop of the ball. Goes to the outer side. Taken over there by Jacobs. Has the ball. And Adelaide, another goal would really get them excited. Taken by Wright, he weaves around on the wing, squares the ball, searching for Dangerfield, but Menzel's read it cleverly and clears.
He did read it cleverly. It was a poor kick by Wright, just didn't have the carry and dropped short. Menzel was able to cut it off, and once again, the Cats will hold possession as long as they can.
And you'd reckon we've just about had it. Taylor takes the mark in defence. Geelong lead, and deservedly so. 14-12-96. The Crows 12-13-85. 33,576 fans came tonight, and they weren't disappointed. Geelong win the game. The Adelaide side wins back some pride. Final scores: Geelong 14-12-96, defeat the Crows 12-13-85.
We are Geelong, the greatest team of all. We are Geelong, we're always on the ball. We play the game as it should be played. Home or far away, the banners fly high from dawn to dark, down at Gardenia Park. Team of all, we are Geelong, we're always on the ball. We play the game as it should be played, at home or far away. Our banners fly high from dawn to dark, down at Gardenia Park.
The win to Geelong, 14-12-96. The Cats defeating the Crows 12-13-85 by 11 points. Geelong now to 72 points on the table, together with Collingwood. So the ladder we can give you now, it's complete after 21 rounds, is Collingwood 72, Geelong on 72, Hawthorn 60, Carlton 58, the West Coast 56, St Kilda 42, Essendon 42, Sydney 38, the Dockers 36, North Melbourne 32, Melbourne 30, the Western Bulldogs 28, Adelaide 24, Richmond 26, Adelaide 24, Brisbane 16, the Gold Coast 12, and Port Adelaide on the bottom with 8 points. Now we'll be getting to the rooms for both clubs. We're going here for everybody, are we, I think, until 7:30 local time. So please feel free to give us a call, 1300 222 891, 1300 222 891. And Roger, I'll let you give us the drum, because Jimmy Bartell's coming off, so I think it's good value too to be able to give him the congratulatory applause that befits a man who's reached such a milestone.
A wonderful player. He's doing a lot of interviews, and now the players waited for him as you would expect. And he's been chaired off by Cameron Lee, now dropped onto the ground by James Kelly and let throw to go into the bunker down underneath on the members' side. So an excellent game of football though. 11 points was the margin last year in round 16, and now that is the margin in favour of the Cats this time. But a good game of football, more than a good game of football.
Michael Philippou will be in the Cats rooms, and Anthony Tucker will be in the Crows rooms, and we'll get to those as soon as we can, because I'm sure there'll be a fair amount of emotion with Chris Scott heading towards the final series in his first year as a coach of an AFL team. What a wonderful performance. His brother, of course, Brad, with Kangaroos about to play, still a chance to make the top 8. Geelong 14-12-96, the Crows 12-13-85. Earlier today, the West Coast Eagles 16-14-110, Melbourne 9-8-62, and Richmond 14-15-99 defeated Sydney 7-14-56. Now, if you want to give us a call, feel free to do so. 1300 222 891, 1300 222 891. We will be on air now for still another 45 minutes. So would love to hear your thoughts on this game or about the game itself, because it's in pretty healthy state after today. Let's go straight down to the Cats rooms and Michael Philippou.
We are Geelong, the greatest team of all. Hey, we are Geelong, we're always on the ball. We play the game as it should be played. Hey, at home or far away, our banners flying high from dawn to dark, connected in your park.
Well, the Cats, they've won their 5th straight. Jimmy Bartell played in his 200th match today, the dual All-Australian and Brownlow medalist, and he was pretty shy as he was in the middle of the circle. Fair bit of fluid being thrown on top of him. We'll grab a player shortly.
Michael Philippou getting a good job, and that's going into the Cats rooms, and we thought pretty much all throughout the week as we led up that would be the case, that he'd get the good job going into the winners' rooms. But Jamo and Stephen Williams with Geelong 14-12-96 to the Crows 12-13-85. Good stouts from both teams.
It was a good game of footy.
Yeah.
It was, we've seen a lot of games where it's just pretty dull, and they slowed the game down, but they took chances today. They played through the centre of the ground. Both sides were willing to attack, play on quickly, and I'm sure the crowd of 33,000 really enjoyed the game. I'm sure they would have liked to have seen Adelaide get over the line, but I think we could tell by the applause as the Crows players entered the race that although they lost, the crowd were pleased with the efforts that they put in. They didn't give up. They outscored the Cats in the second half. So 19 points down at half time, 18 at three-quarter time, and 11 at full time. So a good result from Adelaide. Mark Bickley's first loss as a coach, but I think he'd take a lot of positives out of the game. I thought Daniel Talia in particular was a young player that Phil Davis is gone, but he's shown that he can perhaps fill that void pretty well.
Yeah, good call. Let's go straight back to the Geelong rooms. Michael Philippou.
Well, it was a tough game. Jimmy Bartell in your 200th match. What a way to spend it in the end. Adelaide did throw everything at you when you just managed to hold them out.
Yeah, we certainly did. Look, Adelaide beat us at probably the areas that we normally put up on the board and try and work towards. So the young blokes took us on, won the contested ball and really attacked the game.
And what about some of the players that are starting to move through the ranks, the younger players coming through now? It must be heartening to see Menzel, the likes of that sort of player starting to come up and put a bit more pressure on some of more of the experienced players.
Yeah, well, they've really been thrown in the deep end. They take us all on at training, which is what you want to see from young blokes, and they deserve their spot in the 22. And they're not just making up the numbers, like I said, but we throw them in. We want them to win the ball. We want them to play, down back and up forward, and they've certainly, taken the game on.
Then was a bit of talk when Ablett left the club last year that it would be difficult to cover his loss, but 18 victories and 2 losses, and it seems that more and more players have started to step up and come through the midfield and cover it.
Yeah, we certainly, if we obviously still have guys, that'd be great, but it just proves that structures can beat talent most of the time, and it's probably opened the door for guys like Alan Christensen and Mitch Duncan and Trav Barco, to name a few, and you're seeing Chappie and Stevie Johnson play a lot more midfield, so we've probably become a little bit more multi-dimensional, in that midfield forward role.
And from your own perspective, playing through the midfield, James Podsiadly's come into the side. His work rate seems phenomenal. For a big guy up forward, if he doesn't mark it, he holds the ball in the area.
Yeah, he's an experienced player when he came in. He's got a level head on his shoulders, and he understands game plans really easy. So we sort of got really lucky there, recruiting him out of our fitness staff.
Yeah, up to you in the commentary box. This is the Geelong champ, Jimmy Bartell.
Yeah, Jimmy, Stephen Williams here, mate. Congratulations on your milestone game. And what's it like after coming off 2 games where you win pretty convincingly, probably do things a bit easier than you would normally do it? It just seemed early in the game that you probably weren't used to that pressure that Adelaide put onto you over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, it's probably sort of answer you first, but I think the reason why we've been able to win so many games over the last 5 years is we don't really measure our games on the scoreboard. We keep it down to a few key areas, and win, lose or draw, we come in on Monday and we really nut those issues out and just work on them. So we've created an environment, like a pretty level environment, but you've got to give the Crows credit. They certainly went at the ball a lot harder early. They moved the ball quick, like I said, and maybe if they converted a few more of those inside 50s that they had early, we could have been in a lot more trouble.
Jimmy, Rod Jamieson, congratulations too personally. I was going to highlight that, the fact that when you look at the stat sheet, you'll see that Adelaide clearly won a lot of the real indicators, but yet you've won, and the efficiency was probably the key one out of it, where Geelong did get on top.
Yeah, you're spot on there. We probably take nothing away from them. We probably did use it a bit better going forward. We had a couple of coast-to-coast goals, but I think once we sort of defended a bit too deep today, which it looked great. It made it harder for them to score, but it kept us under pressure the whole game.
Jim, it's Peter Walsh. It's been a wonderful season for Geelong so far. We put the full stop on now. Yep. We as commentators look towards the finals, but you as players, is it hard to stay absolutely focused knowing you're going to finish 1-2?
No, it's pretty easy to stay focused because we've got a pretty competitive group at the moment. We've probably got about 30 odd blokes who could be down in that final 22. So we've got some really good internal pressure, and the new coach as well. Everyone wants to try and impress him, and really stamp out a spot in the side.
Can I just follow on from that, Jimmy, too? Has he changed much around Geelong, the way you do things?
I think, if this makes sense, I think we're a little bit more defensive with our attack. We're not all out, up the corridor all the time, play on at all costs. We still do that when it's right, but we're probably, going back and feeling the game a bit better, and getting the ball in a little bit deeper sometimes by kick instead of trying to run the whole way through.
Jimmy, it's Roger Wills here. You did beat Collingwood in round 8 by 3 points. You're playing the last round. It might be a weird question. When you watch Collingwood play, what concerns you most when you look towards meeting them in the finals?
They're pretty solid defensively. They're the creators of this whole press that everyone's doing at the moment. So they've probably got a year start on everybody else as far as perfecting that. So they're very good defensively, and from that they get some really good attack, because you have a look at their midfielders. Swan, Pendlebury, even young fellas like Sidebottom and Beams are all bobbing up. So they're creating some real opportunities through really good defence.
Jimmy, have you got any plans for the bye?
No, not yet. Probably getting flogged on Saturday.
So you don't get a chance to a little bit of freshening up mentally?
We might have a couple of days during the week, so I think it's the golf course if the weather's nice enough.
Good stuff. Stay on the fairway.
Thanks, guys.
Good on you, Jim.
Cheers.
Jimmy Bartell, 200 games in style. Now, just on that too, I'll just repeat the score for those who might have just joined us, and I'll give that telephone number again: 1300 222 891 1300 222 891 if you'd like to give us a call. Geelong 14 12 96, the Crows 12 13 85. Is it a good time to have a bye? I know you've got to have it sooner or later, but
I think it is. I would imagine that Mackie probably was rested a bit today, as far as he was a little bit sore, and they decided, well, we won't take the risk. We've got next week as well, so we can have a good break. The same with Scarlett, so it's a great opportunity for them even though they might work hard on the track, they just don't have to come up physically for a hard battling game of footy, and then they can settle down 2 games and then into the finals. It probably comes at an ideal time.
Analysing the game as you do, Stephen, I think your point again going back, Adelaide's tempo with the game, and Jimmy Bartell touched on it then in terms of when to attack, when to pull the trigger, when to go, and I think that's the change that Chris Scott has really added to their game, and that's where Adelaide, prom tonight, I think would really just learn something about themselves rather than just go, go, go. It is just such a high pressure game to actually do it for 100 minutes.
It was that probably 15 minutes in the second quarter, wasn't it? Yep. The Cats kicked 6 unanswered goals, and there's the game really. Adelaide matched them for the rest of the day, but before that and after that, but the damage was done, and that's the beauty of the Geelong side. They, as we talked about, their precision ball movement, and that they were able to score those goals quickly and probably looked to be pretty much in control. Although the game got close, they still looked like they'd be the winner.
Now, our plan before we finish is to take as many phone calls as possible. That number is 1300 222 891. But also, we'll visit the Crows rooms. We'll get an interview from the Crows rooms and hopefully press conferences from both teams. And we've got another 35 minutes to go before we wrap it up for tonight. Now, the score, Geelong winning by 11 points. In the other matches, the West Coast beat Melbourne. They won by 48 points. And a 43-point win to Richmond over Sydney. 1300 222 891. Let's go to Peter from Melbourne. Thanks for hanging on, Peter.
No worries, Walshy, fellas. How are you?
Very well.
Yeah, right. I asked you not long ago about the future of this Crows team. Well, I reckon this game we're seeing the start of something coming up for them.
Well, I hope so, Peter. It's a real change in the way that they've played the last 2 weeks. Again, poor opposition 2 weeks now, but up tonight. Look, it's only one game, and you tend to raise yourself to a majority if you are a decent side. So I'm still concerned about their depth and if they can maintain that pressure week in, week out. But it's a good start.
Well done, Peter. Jim from Eildon's next online. 1300 222 891 with Geelong winning by 11 points. Thanks for calling in, Jim.
Yeah, no worries, Walshy. Magic call, as per usual. And it's good to see a magnificent game like that. You pin the two sides up on the wall and have a look line for line. There's not a champion in the team, but they're a team of champions, real Spartans. And I got one for Gemmo. If you go down into the club rooms there, Gemmo, and you see the poor pleasure around,
yep,
tell him to knock off tackling. His job is to get up in the air, take a mark and kick goals. Never mind about tackling.
Oh, look, it's such a big part of the game, Jim. I hear what you're saying, but look, I sit on a foundation with him, and I saw him during the week, and if they were close to the finals, he'd have a crack, but they're just holding him back now.
You will stop tackling him in the foundation. Leave him alone, will you?
Tell him to have a chat to Taylor Walker.
Just get his arms up.
Yeah, stop tackling him. Let's go to Anthony Tucker in the Crows rooms.
Yeah, thanks, Walsh. And Chris Knights has been good enough to join us, and Chris, look, 3 weeks ago lost by over 100 points. You've won 2 games since then, and tonight pushed one of the top 2 teams in the league to within 2 goals. Can you tell us a bit about the turnaround and what you thought of tonight's game overall?
Yeah, I suppose, it was great by the boys. We were able to put, I suppose, a more consistent 4-quarter effort on the park tonight. But, we're disappointed because we took Geelong within 6 points in the last quarter, and we had our opportunities. We weren't quite able to finish them off, so it would have been great to get the 4 points tonight. I suppose as a group, we're just playing an attacking brand of football. We're taking risks. We're not worrying about making mistakes, and it's really paying off. It's enjoyable to be involved in that sort of game style out there.
All the stats pointed towards the Crows probably having a win tonight. Was it that taking the risk and maybe a few errors that perhaps cost you the game in the end?
Yeah, I think so, and I think we didn't make the most of our opportunities in front of goal. We probably, Ivan Maric, he's a really good set shot, missed opportunity there. Patrick Dangerfield, and they, to their credit, or not to their credit, but they missed some opportunities as well in front of goals. But we really like to make sure that we capitalise on those opportunities. I'm not too sure of all the statistics in terms of contested ball clearances, that sort of stuff, but it felt like we were in the game the whole time, and if not, we felt like that at times that we were really on top of them.
With Ben Rutten out tonight, can you tell us what you thought of the job that Sean McKernan and Daniel Talia did down back on 2 very good players, or a good strong forward line? Mooney, Podziali, some big boys down there.
Yeah, they were great tonight, and it's not just the forwards that they're up against. They're up against the delivery that the midfielders are kicking it in, and they've got some really classy midfielders sort of putting it out into advantage. And when you play Geelong and you're a defender, you have to defend a lot of balls coming in. So I thought they were really good tonight.
Looking at the last 5 names on the record here, Wright, Henderson, Riley, Armstrong and McKernan, who have mentioned, it must give a player, experienced player like yourself, a lot of joy at what might be coming in the future.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, they're exciting talents. They train well and they give a sense of enthusiasm around the club. But make no mistake about it, guys like Sean McKernan and that have been really pushing for selection in the SANFL for quite a while. And it's unfortunate Benny Rutten couldn't get up. He's a little bit sick this week. But Daniel Taylor gets the opportunity, gets to come in. Guys like Ricky Henderson and Tony Armstrong have been playing some really good football.
Talking with Chris Knights down the Crows rooms, up to the box, and Rod Jamison.
Yeah, Nida, look, just to highlight some of the stats, clearances, you'll feel that this is the one that actually got away from you. Clearances, 39 Adelaide, Geelong 20. Yeah. Inside 50s, 54 Adelaide, 49 Geelong, and there's other stats too. It was one. It's been such a turbulent year, and then you turn around with something like that. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to push them, but this group, Craigie sort of set high expectations for this group, and, whilst we did push Geelong, we really wanted, when we set ourselves for the win today, I didn't know those statistics, Jamo, but, I suppose that there are other areas that I suppose let us down, maybe kicking efficiency, maybe our set shots in front of goal, but, it's good for the midfield group to know that, that was an area that we've sort of gone into the game against Geelong. They've got a really good ruck division, a great midfield division, so for us to win the clearances and to win the inside 50s, it's good for the boys.
Yeah, Chris, it hasn't been a great year for the team, but Rory Sloane's a real success story. I think tonight was probably the best game I've seen him play. He's had 36 disposals, 17 of them contested, 8 clearances, 7 inside 50s. Playing Geelong, you have to match it with them inside. They've got those big body players, but I thought your midfielders, including Sloan and yourself, just took it up to them, and probably if we were picking best players on the ground, you'd probably almost have 3 Adelaide players in the best 3 players before you pick a Geelong player.
Yeah, that's a credit to Sloan. He just does everything right around the footy club. He trains hard, he's enthusiastic, he's bubbly, and he's really positive towards taking feedback, whether it's positive or negative. And no one really works harder than Sloaney, so it's just it's good to see that everything's coming together for him. He's played some really consistent, hard football, but then to reward himself statistically tonight is really good.
Chris, it's Peter Walsh. To me, it seemed like there was a lot of self-belief out there tonight. You took the ball and you were prepared to swing it around across the ground, down the lines, whatever, irrespective of the opposition, knowing they could really hurt you and burn you if you coughed it up. But it did seem as if, let's go out and let's have a real crack.
I think we just went and attacked it with a mentality that, we may make mistakes tonight, but not worrying about it. Because Geelong, they can hurt you, but they also can leak big scores. So we just went out there with an attacking mindset to take it to them, to take risks, to use handball, to flick it round. And yeah, sometimes it didn't work for us. I think I stuffed one up in the right deep in defence, and Chapman ran in for an open goal. But we just kept taking risks, and at the same time, it can cost you, but you can kick scores as well. And I think that's the way you got to play the teams these days.
And Sam Jacobs, Chris, the longer the season has gone, he started sort of a bit late, so to speak.